to Nintendo Dads episode 511, recorded today, January 16th, 2025, the day we finally have confirmation of the Nintendo Switch 2. So for the next 2.5 hours, we're going to debunk and talk about a trailer that was only 2.5 minutes long. Why? Because that's our job. That's why you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go!
What is up, everybody? I don't know if I can match that energy, but it's Marty Esses here, and you're listening to Nintendo Dads, episode 511. It is January 16th, 2025, the day that all the Nintendo world stood still as we got our first official glimpse at the Nintendo Switch 2. Some of us have gotten unofficial glimpses of it across various websites on the internet for weeks leading up to this. And so, hey, it's here. We're going to talk about it. And joining us on the show this week, as usual, is our usual cast of characters, minus Jesse Waldack. He's taking a break this week. He's here, but he's not here. He is literally the Wizard of Oz. He's the man behind the curtain, and we're very appreciative of him. But also joining us on the show this week from the Dad Crossing podcast, Nick Metzger and Sean Abbott. How you guys doing?
We are doing good. Thanks for having us. I mean, we could not have a better day to be on than Switch 2 reveal, man. Super excited. You guys
100% could not have legitimately picked a better day to come onto our show. This will probably be the most listened to episode probably the entire year. And you're talking about cross-promoting. You're just eating today, folks. You're just eating well. It'd be great. Where'd Marty go? Just disappeared.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, Sean Nick from Dad Crossing. Not you are well known to our community. Great parts of our community. Sean, you guys have done Dad. What have you been doing for the last couple of years? Where might we know you?
Where might you know us? So we originally started sitting very nicely on the umbrella. It was actually being on the show for the first time with you guys is what brought Nick to me in terms of doing the Animal Crossing podcast, which is what Dad Crossing originally is with Dan. Hi, Dan. Once Nintendo kind of run out of things to do with Animal Crossing and kind of got bored of it and stopped putting updates, me and Nick transitioned into Game Pass News. We had a lot of fun doing that. I broke Nick with Game Pass because he played so many games. It was unreal.
I'm now just like a game tester, or taster, like Justin, thanks to Game Pass.
It's actually a game sampler.
A sampler, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we
totally
did.
He puts them in the glass. He swishes them around. He smells the bouquet. He swishes it around.
Spits it straight back out and moves on to the next one.
100%.
Yeah, that's right. And so, guys, we're this is one of those situations where, what's the old saying? Every squirrel finds a nut every now and then. You picked the best day to be guests on the show. And joining us, as usual, from the Great White North, both of them, but just not one more north than the other. Justin Masson. I fully expect you to have an absolute field day on this show tonight.
I am going to be unhinged. First and foremost, Justin was right since October when I said this was going to happen in January, and everyone's like, no, it's not. You're stupid. Who's laughing now, jerks? It did happen in January, and it happened in the back half of January. And so if you listened last week, I've already won part of my prediction.
Justin,
but who said you were wrong?
Hold up. Whoa. I'm pulling the ripcord right here. The 16th of January is not the back half of January.
It is the back half.
It is
that's
the
what the
middle
first half
of January.
First
it is
to 15th, 16th,
January 6th. No,
to the end.
January
That's the
16th.
Half. Woot woot!
January,
get that belt ready to come to the Great White North because I'm already gonna win.
No, we're not doing this. January 16th is the belt of January. It is not. It's holding up January's pants. It
It's
is
a simple
we are
math
not
question.
doing this.
Mikey Bergen in the chat, he has come down from high and he has spoken the truth. In the Twitch chat, he said, Nate, the hate, and Justin was right. And 100% he's correct. Ladies and gentlemen, we are feasting today. But before we jump into this delicacy that is the Nintendo Switch 2, Timothy Off, how are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. It was very interesting leading up to today, seeing everybody's reactions to, well, we didn't get anything from Nintendo about something coming today, so nothing must be coming. But not even that from yesterday, just everything leading up to this point, and it's gonna be fun talking about it. So I can't wait. And in bonus, we got Sean and Nick on too, so I'm excited.
Yep. And you know what? Why wait? Let's just jump straight into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
And as always, our news is brought to us by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. And we want to say a huge thanks to all of our patrons as well as our Twitch Prime subscribers. Hey, if you follow us on social media, if you subscribe to us on YouTube or Twitch or wherever you watch our streams, share our content, thank you so much. But especially to those over at patreon.com /Nintendo Dads, where they're in for $1, $5, $10, $30 a month. You are helping us buy our Switch 2s. I mean, you're helping build great community. No, seriously, your support helps us do things like go to PAX East here in a few months. Some of the dads are going to be getting to go to PAX East. We're going to be doing stuff throughout the year. We just are so appreciative of you guys. And so if you're not a patron of the show yet, head over to patreon.com /Nintendo Dads, where you can sign up as little as $1 a month, get you into our Discord. It also gets you access to ad-free versions of the show. All those little ads that get inserted through the show completely takes those out. You get your own feed. You're a VIP, a very important Patreon. And so you get to be a part of that. And $30, you're a Patreon producer. You get to be on the show like Nick and Sean, like Dave Ernsberger, like Jacqueline Amira, like so many others who've supported us through the years in that role. And guys, even if you're not a patron of the show, you can head over every Thursday to patreon.com /Nintendo Dads, and our weekly update post is free and available for everyone, including the ability to comment on those. Like today, you didn't have to be a patron to leave a comment about how hyped you were for Switch 2, which is our topic of the week and our question of the week. And we'll be going to your comments here in a little bit. So again, one last time, patreon.com /Nintendo Dads. You help support the show and everything else going on here at Nintendo Dads HQ, and we are thankful for you. So let's talk Nintendo Switch 2. This was the video we've all been waiting for. It was the moment that we've been leading up to. Now let's acknowledge the fact that what we saw today was exactly what had been leaked. All right. Even though they tried to spin a little damage control, and I saw last week Imran Khan said something about Nintendo PR is laughing at some of the things, and I'm sure it was more than likely dates and other things that have been mentioned, and not the actual mock-ups and things that we had seen out there, as well as just in-hand photos that we had seen around on Christmas Day from someone out there. But today we get this 2-minute, I think it was 2 minutes and 21 seconds trailer for the Switch 2, which just was the system, exactly what Nate the Hate said it would be, just a system reveal with a later date coming Nintendo Direct, and I believe that's April the 2nd, a Wednesday. Guys, let's talk about that first and foremost, okay, before we get into the system. Justin, I know you love to speculate on these things, and I was wondering, what time of the day do you think that we're going to get that Direct?
That's a great question. I think that's a big audience Direct. I wouldn't be shocked if it was very similar to the way that the Direct was revealed for the original Switch back in 2017. And I want to think that was like a 6 o'clock p.m.
Hmm.
as I recall, because I think we went straight off of that into a actual.
Was that a Wednesday as well?
I don't remember. I'd have to go back and check. Yeah, I think it'll probably be a little bit later. I think to catch all the audiences in relation to it. I think also it's really important to note the fact that that is April 2nd is 2 days after Nintendo's fiscal year has ended. So this is starting their new fiscal year 2 days into it, and they go, "Hey, by the way, let me show you what our pipeline is. Let me tell you more about the Nintendo Switch 2. Let me tell you, investors, stockholders, why you want to pay, why you're going to be playing this, why you're going to be purchasing it, what you're going to be playing." That's a really key, critical place for them to be at as they close off the year. This is also why it wasn't going to be part of this fiscal year's predictions that they had in regards to their, how many units they're going to sell. They had said that was without it. That was a pretty good indicator to us that it was likely not coming out this year, is because they're like, no, that ain't in our numbers. So we're a publicly traded company. I can't lie to you. So it's going to have to be here. So I think it'll be very interesting.
I want to go ahead and answer a question. I was doing some Googling while you were talking. Yep. The original teaser, October the 20th, 2016.
Yep.
The actual worldwide presentation, which was streamed at the same time everywhere, January 13th, 2017, which was a Friday.
Yeah. So 3 months later, right? And I think that's sort of a little bit of indicative of what we're seeing here. Little bit, almost 3 months, give or take, right? In relation to our teaser look, to our direct, deep dive. And then I would probably, and I'm jumping around here, and then I'd probably speculate we're looking at most likely a June or July release if I was to kind of ballpark where I think we're going to see this go public for actual sale. We're obviously going to get that date in that April 2nd, but I wouldn't be shocked if we're looking at like a late June, early July release date for this console. Wherever this console is going to end, it doesn't have to be part of the holiday season because it's going to sell no matter what. So that's sort of my guess in relation to how, if we're following the cadence from last year or last time, that could be a little bit of it.
So, good. Nick and Sean, I want to throw to you guys as guests of the show. Just as we kind of dive into this, our thoughts on this. I hesitate to call it a presentation. Teaser trailer.
Yeah, that's what I'd call it.
Look at so what did you guys think? Initial thoughts on the actual video itself?
For me, I was super hyped. There's the initial like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Look at this thing. It's all this stuff. And you're just like, and you do that. And then you kind of sit back and you're like, oh, but wait, what do I really know? And then there's also the side of like Nintendo or internet sucks. So you're like, well, that's everything I already knew. And it's like, well, but that's not Nintendo's fault. That's, and so there's all those pieces that play into your head after you initially watch it. That was like my initial, like, first 3 minutes. I don't know, Sean, what do you got?
I ignore the leaks because I never trust them. It's the same with games. It's the same with music and stuff like that. I always try and ignore leaks because it kind of ruins the fun of things. But I also feel like Nintendo have kind of rushed this as a like you say, a presentation prior to the main the words fail me. The main show later on in
the direct,
April. Direct. That's the word I'm looking for. It's early. For the main direct because of the leaks, the back end of last year, which I think is a bit of a spoil. The video was great. They've definitely looked at like Apple and the way that Apple do things in terms of displaying the product, showing how it comes apart, and all like the like sliding around and stuff like that. So it was very well presented as a presentation goes, because that's what I thought it was. It was here is what we have. Let's get your taste buds going, and then teach you at the end with like a date for the direct. So.
And I want to let's sit in that pocket for a second there, Sean. I 100% agree with you there. I think this is the most Apple Nintendo has ever been in their methodology and in their communication. And no shock, right? Like I think we've seen them aspire to want to be that. And in a lot of ways we've sort of talked about, when an iPhone comes out, it has reached cultural saturation that you just know what an iPhone is. You just like, there it is, I see it, I know it, right? You just throw another number on top of it. What is it? It's a better processor, it's a bigger screen, and it has a feature exclusively that the past one doesn't have. Wait a second. It's a bigger screen. It's a bigger Joy-Con.
And
It has a feature that the other one doesn't have. Oh, and you just put a number 2 on it. The video, to your point, Sean, was absolutely quintessential Apple. Push in on the technology, spin it around a little bit, show the change, the evolution, stretch out something, bada bing, bada boom. And by the way, it's the number 2. I would be very fascinated to see if we end up getting to a point where, and again, we are now speculating Nintendo Switch 3, right? But is this sort of the way they're going to be? Because all they need to do, like you are only making it a little bit bigger, and you're just putting a 2 behind it, but we're all salivating, right? That's all we needed to know, and that's your strategy. I think this was very Apple-esque. And I think we as an audience, because of how saturated the Switch is, like we know the market, they've sat in that for 7 years. It's going to be the number 1 selling game console ever very soon. That all they needed to do was say 2. And P.S. This is the first time Nintendo's ever put just another number behind one of their product lines.
Mm-hmm.
That's notable. Like that, like we could be in a situation if the Switch 2 runs as long as the Switch 1, that we have been playing the Switch family of consoles for 15 years, potentially. That's the confidence. The court will now turn to Timothy Off, who said he had a point. Sir.
I don't remember what it is now.
Damn right. You just have to filibuster. That's what happens.
I'll throw this out there while Tim's remembering. I do think that if we, one of the things that we need to do with the teaser trailer, however we feel about it, is to do something important, and that is to take our game journalist glasses off and look at it with our general public glasses off or glasses on. And what I mean by that is that for the majority of people who are even have a passing notoriety when it comes to Nintendo, this more than likely for a large part of the general populace came out of the blue. They weren't thinking about a Switch 2. They may have been thinking about, hey, eventually the Switch is going to get Nintendo's going to make a new console. But they weren't scouring the internet for leak pictures and all of that. Now, are people in general more wise to those things now, like on the inside curve? Sure. But mom and dad who, maybe bought a Switch 2 or 3 years ago for their kid didn't and weren't thinking that on January 16th, there would be a reveal of a brand new Switch console. So for some of them, I would think that this would there were several people who watched this and were like, whoa, that is super cool. Like I need to know, like now I need to know more. So I think in that way, the teaser trailer did what it was supposed to. I will count myself among the people who I watched it and I went, yeah, there it is. Would sure look it, as Justin would say. Look, there it is. Exactly as Genki spoiled it.
I love kind of Marty sitting in that pocket for a second, right, and kind of thinking about just the general fan base, right? Like let's just like wash this statement over us really quickly. We're already bought in, right? We're all probably day ones, right?
Amen.
We're good to go. We're not that audience. I did show the video to my oldest daughter, and her literal response was, "That's it. It's just a bigger screen. That's it."
While we're in this pocket, let me show you the other side of that. My son was ecstatic and can't wait to spend money to be able to buy one.
Nice.
So can I say, when in the same pocket, I showed it to two parents who are exactly who Marty's talking about. And their thing was, oh, it's bigger. Okay. Also, magnetic. Are they going to stay attached? Both of them, without being in the same, like, both of them had the same worry of, like, well, how are they going to stay attached if they're magnetic? Like that was the first thing they said. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
It's got to work. I mean,
I totally agree.
Hold your thing right there, because I want to say this. Nintendo has to be 100 billion% confident that they have something there that will continue to work for years and years and years, because no other console or handheld has ever released with magnetically locking controllers. You are like, I know parents who will say, I will not hand my child a $400 console with magnets holding it together unless
I totally agree.
prove that those are like the world's strongest magnets.
I mean,
I
Mac
think-
technology's come a long way though, because if you think about MagSafe chargers and MagSafe phone mounts, I struggle sometimes to take. I use a MagSafe charger for the iPhone. I struggle sometimes to pull that thing off the nightstand without pulling almost the nightstand over. So, and I'm sat here now and I'm thinking, wow, how strong are things? And I'm pulling. I've got like a Mac AirBook, like from 2015, and I'm nearly dragging that thing across the table by the charging cable, which is held in magnetically. So
Yes.
I have a feeling that it doesn't have to be ridiculously strong.
I'm not trying to throw the magnetic thing under the bus at all. I think it's cool as all get out. But I love the way that like the rails go into the console. Like I think that's going to reduce some breakage in some ways. But I do think that the non-wised up Nintendo people are going to be like, huh, that's gonna just break. That's just gonna break.
I'll give you two things that I'm sort of thinking about, and then I actually have to step off because I have to go pick up my daughter, who doesn't care about the Switch. So just taking up my airspace.
It's the second time he said that. You're not bitter.
Right. No. The first thing in regards to the Joy-Cons coming in, when the video shows it, there's like a chip circuit or something that's on the tablet. Like that gives me anxiety.
Yep.
I'm like that exposed piece that gives me like parental anxiety that is going to break. That whatever that is going to bust, and you are hooped. Like if a Joy-Con busts, fine. That's $100. That thing busts. I doubt that we are going to be okay.
I think that's where we have to remember there is the Switch Lite, and we eventually will get a Switch Lite 2, which will be made for those instances where you don't want to give a kid a $400 device. Maybe you'll give them a less expensive device.
I in some way like hope there's some, I don't know, protective guard you can put over it or something. Here's the second thing I want to kind of say, and I'm going to step off and I'll be back in a bit. In relation to sort of the average individual who isn't already bought in, right? Like we're in. I don't know if this was a compelling enough reason to go forward. And unfortunately, I don't think you showed me Mario Kart 9, Infinity, Ultra, whatever the heck you wanted to call it. And yes, that's exciting, but that's not enough. You have not convinced a layman the reason why I now need to put down $500 to get this special console that PS I probably just bought my kid a console in Christmas, and you've already told me it's backwards compatible. They haven't dangled that carrot enough. Now, in all fairness, the direct in April should be that. It should be, this is why. You want the latest Mario, the newest Mario, the best Mario? It's only on this platform, but everything else you have still works, but it's only here. They haven't made the compelling story as to what makes this special enough. And that was sort of the argument that I had before in regards to these experience events. And I know I'm all over the place, but like, you're going to have people travel and be like, have you ever played with a Nintendo Switch before? Yeah. For the last 8 years. Well, this one's bigger and here's Tears of the Kingdom. Get out of here. Right? Like you better show me something that makes this experience uniquely different than anything that I've played anywhere else to move me forward. And that little zipping around mouse thing, I don't know if that's it. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't know if that's it. And I got to go get my kid now who doesn't care about Nintendo.
So you're saying it's going to be $500? Just so you said $500.
Sorry, I'm already
probably in Canada.
I'm already converting it to the Canadian price of $500.
My bad.
I believe it's $399 in the US.
So. Yeah. So look, Justin's going to leave. That's a great segue. to say a couple of things here. Number one, there any price that we throw out on this show is speculation. We don't know anything. We don't have any insider baseball here. We did predict, several of us did predict that it would be somewhere around the neighborhood of 399. Since then, I have seen a lot of journalists saying and agreeing with that price, saying, looking at things like inflation and extra components and all kinds of things like that, you're looking at least a 399 price. Maybe that they start selling these in a deficit. Another thing that was mentioned today was that they are comfortably going to have around 15 to 20 million of these on hand day one. And we kind of like that corroborates what we'd heard about the delay to beef up supply chain for that. So, they do expect that they're going to sell quite a few of these year one. But here's what I wanted to do as we talk about this trailer. And again, it's really all we're going to talk about this week, besides what we've been playing and your questions. Jesse is prepared it where we can actually watch parts of this trailer. And so if you're listening in the audio version, you'll just hear it. If you're watching along with us on the video version or you're streaming it live as we record, we're going to try to get into this trailer and do a breakdown on some of the things. And so if you could, Jesse, if you could adjust it where maybe where past that part at the beginning where it just shows the switch to where it actually starts to transform, that would be great. And then we can tell you when to stop it and all that good stuff.
Well, now I don't know if this is working right. Hold on.
Hey,
Well, you can see it,
good.
but I don't think OBS can see it.
Yeah. Well, there's some level.
OBS is seeing Windows.
Look at all that magic.
He's got a lot of magic going on over there. While we're doing that, let's kind of just talk about and you can tell us when you're ready, but we'll go on and move on to some other stuff. As Justin's already mentioned, and we'll see this in a minute, presumably Mario Kart 9 was shown. The game that was shown was definitely a Mario Kart game, and it was definitely a new version of Mario Kart. And there's some details I want to pick out from that here in a minute. It was also announced there will be another direct on April 2nd that will go more in depth with the system and software. Presumably that's going to be, I'm kind of like speculating here. That's going to be where we see things like release date, pre-order information, and price and details about, like, it's going to be a pretty substantial. I look for that to be around an hour, 40 minutes to an hour to fit everything in. And then there will also be, after that, beginning 2 days later, the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, where people get to go hands-on with the Nintendo Switch 2, as Justin's already alluded to. This is not just going to be in one country. It's going to stretch across the world. There's going to be North America, Europe, Oceania, and Asia dates beginning in New York and Paris from April 4th to the 6th. Then Los Angeles and London from April 11th to the 13th. Dallas and Milan and Berlin from April 25th to the 27th. Also Toronto from April 25th to the 27th. And then from there's no more North America dates. Tokyo will also be April 26th to 27th. From there, we kind of get into May, Madrid, Amsterdam, and Melbourne, May 9th through the 11th in those dates. And then Seoul, South Korea, May 31st to June 1st, and Hong Kong and Taipei to be announced. So this, like, if you think back, guys, it's been a while, right? I mean, it's been almost 8 long years, right? Nintendo did this with Switch. If you'll remember, they did this thing where they were like in a glass encasing, like house, and the glass would like cloud over when you pushed a button or when they docked the Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when they undocked it, it would like open up and show that, oh, they're on top of a mountain, and oh, John Cena's there. And all kinds of other stuff. Kit and Krista talk about this on their podcast, like doing those dates, and it's so super interesting to hear their like inside information on that. if you go back and listen to their archives. Tim's going to actually share this video with us. And Tim, if you could get us to where we start seeing those first looks of Switch 2, that would be great. Yep, right there is good.
I like how the video, the screen pops bigger.
Yeah.
Like when you're
So,
watching
yeah.
this, it's like showing the original OLED, the
So-
original
OG,
Switch.
that one as well with a bevel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
with the
you,
bevel.
Tim, when you play this, we're just going to kind of go through and just Mystery Science Theater 3000 this, right? Just as it's going. So you got the screen, it pops bigger, it starts stripping away. You see the Joy-Con, are they called divots now, or they're not rails?
Not rails no more.
No, button placement. Also interesting, USB-C on the top and bottom of the device. What do you think that's for?
You think you could get a screen without a dock?
Some people said possibly pause it right here, Tim, since so we got some good chatter here. Some people said that they thought that it might be so that you could charge it when it's in tabletop mode.
Yeah, I think a combination of being able to charge it tabletop mode, the more I thought about it with what Nick was saying in terms of being able to push it to the screen from the top of the console, with what we'll talk about in a little bit when we what looks like mice, is Mario Paint. You remember the original Mario Paint? You had that big plastic tile that you had to like write on.
The mouse pad.
The mouse pad. So the screen becomes the mouse pad for you to hand draw with, I reckon, a stylus style pen, and the Joy-Con becomes a tabletop mouse. So you fully have like a fully working like keyboard mouse operation going on.
That would be awesome. Some people also speculated it might be USB-C headphones, since there is a headphone jack right there. But
yeah,
I just wonder like why. Hear me when I say this, because it may sound a little ignorant / elitist. Why would they do that when you've got Bluetooth? Like most people have Bluetooth headsets at this point.
They do, but don't Bluetooth headsets currently with the Switch not allow you voice connectivity? So is this going to be,
correct.
Does this get over the need for them to have voice connectivity with Bluetooth? Or hopefully, because we don't know much about the software side of things, are we going to see a Bluetooth improvement in terms of picking a microphone with headsets?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I want to note too here, like the fan grates are way better than the OG Switch. We already skipped past the bottom of it too, but you had it right there, Tim. If you'll go back just a little bit, on the bottom right there, those speakers are pretty large.
Yeah.
Pretty large speakers. I honestly I know that it's not going to be an OLED screen to begin with, but I think we're going to get a lot of the other components that are relatable to the OLED in this.
See, I think we will get an OLED screen straight away. But I don't see in terms of technology being expensive, I don't see the OLED being as expensive as it used to be now. Most phones, when you get them, are OLED as they come out. TVs now are more than likely going to be OLED, like going forward. And if you're going to expand the screen that big and you're going to bring better graphics or better looking games, like Mario Kart looked sweet as in this little showcase.
There's been some examples though to where LCD screens have become better,
almost as good,
almost as good as OLED too.
Tim bringing that up, I'm going to borrow something that our good buddy Zablanc let me in on, and I have one now. Have you seen the screen in person for the PlayStation Portable or Portal?
I haven't seen that. No.
Oh my gosh, it's an LCD screen and it is amazing.
Oh,
and it's about the size of what we're getting with the Switch 2, and so I'm actually excited about that like the possibility of that, because an LCD screen can be quality and can be cheaper if they choose to do it. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the kickstand. Seen very conflicting reports are very conflicting opinions about this so far. One being it looks really flimsy, but I want to stop at just a couple seconds from here. There, that's good right there. That's what I'm looking for. That hinge on this kickstand, that is the OLED hinge. If you fully extend your OLED kickstand out, that is the same hinge that's on the OLED, and it is surprisingly sturdy.
But the OLED hinge goes all the way across, right? I mean, if I remember,
Yes.
I haven't
It's like a
unhinged
flap.
mine in a while.
Yeah, it's a panel.
Unhinged.
That looks like a very small piece of plastic holding those two pieces together. Now, I mean, listen, I'm
What
cool.
if it's metal?
Can you see can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, we don't know what it's made out of yet.
I mean, looking at Tim's, you're right. It does. Okay, so it does not hinge. It's not like a piano hinge. It does not hinge all the way across. Like I
Yeah.
had it. Like I don't use the hinge on my OLED very often, but
Mm-mm.
so it is basically the same thing. Marty's right. Like it is just hinged in the corner, and actually the hinge on Tim's looks. You're right, a lot like that hinge.
So
Now that you see it,
the speculation on that is that the reason it doesn't go all the way across is because the part of the body that it's framing is where extra components are now. Like
sure, makes sense.
all the technology that's packed into this. And now, again, speculation, folks. We're not sitting here with some secret document from Nintendo. I wish I was, right?
Yes.
But this is just what we think. Let's move on from there and anything else about the hinge, about the kickstand. I don't really use my kickstand all that much.
No, I didn't realize it could go all that way in the OLED, so I've never tried that.
So so here we got Joy-Cons. They change and then they grow. That's a good half an inch of length. This is really weird to say. I mean, it's like they're if people had any kind of gripe about the Joy-Con before, like the size, I think that this pretty well will address that.
Yeah,
And it looks a little more sleek, a little more dynamic, easier
It's a little
to
more
hold.
contoured at the top and bottom. So I
Yes.
think it's going to be a little easier to like
Or
to
your
reach
finger,
that.
like there.
Yeah.
That was great right there, Tim. You had see, there's the size
Yeah.
of the old Joy-Con on the left, and then the new Joy-Con on the right.
yeah, it looks
you
more
kinda see
rounded
that-
as well. Like the
Yeah.
shoulder
Yeah.
buttons come all the way around.
Yeah, and that's
Oh yeah, you're right. I
oh
see that.
look at there showing
That's perfect.
them with without the new rail or the new, what are we going to call that? The notch?
I'm still going to call it a rail.
The outcropping, the Joy-Con outcropping. Hang on, before you move on that, Tim, I do want to notice something different. I want to see if you've picked up on this.
There's an extra
There
button.
there is the extra button, but did you notice that it's been photoshopped to be blank
Oh,
in this video?
I did not notice that.
There is no C on it.
Yeah. Well, no, who had the C? I don't keep up with all the rumors. When did it have a
almost
C?
every pre-production sample or 3D print or render has had that C button there. It's been widely
Okay.
done from many different sources.
Okay.
So as you can see, that Tim, great job there with that. Bringing out some really interesting stuff. So I want to throw this here. When they're showing this video, that button is flat. There is no way that button is just flat on the final release, right?
Yeah, no.
That there's not like that. The X, A, Y, B buttons are bigger than the standard Joy-Con. And if you'll notice, the stick has a inclined rim around it.
A more protective cover to stop dust.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
The speculation is, if you'll watch this video again, when they show both Joy-Con, the sticks are constantly rotating.
They are.
And the speculation is that they're showing that their Hall effect. That's what that means. So then this video, like it paints on the side of, and I'm guessing the official Switch colors, Switch 2 colors are neon blue and neon orange. Now,
No,
which
it's still
I like.
it's still the neon red. It's just it's
Yeah.
not going to come out the same in videos or pictures.
Mhm.
It's going to be the neon blue and
Tim,
neon red that we
Tim,
had.
if you go back to the video at the beginning of this video, you can tell there's a difference in the color.
I'm saying though that you can't show the neon red in a video like this. It's not going to come out the same.
I'm saying it did.
Okay, let
at
me
the
put it.
beginning
Let
of
me
the
put.
video.
Or let me
3D
put it this
mock-up.
way. Let me put it this way. Why would they change the original colors of neon blue and neon red to neon blue and neon orange?
Because it's Switch 2. Because it's
It
something
makes
new.
no. They're calling
But-
back the original colors that we had.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be red. I see what Tim's saying, and I
See,
think
it's
they're
red
kind of
there.
inverting it, is what they're doing, right? They're inverting the colors that we originally had. So it's like mostly black with red and with neon blue and neon red, instead of mostly neon red and neon blue with accented black.
And I get that. I'm fine if it's either color. I like the orange. That's my thing. I like the orange. So
And to me, that looks more pink, anyways.
Can we
Not orange?
just there we go. That's perfect. So this is the new rail. And there's a couple of things that you notice here. The indentations on either end. Those are the what is speculated to be the magnet that holds them on.
See, they look like
Then-
buttons to me.
They do kind of look like buttons, but I think that's because they kind of are going to have to stick up a little bit, maybe to make the connection. And then there's the button in the back that releases them, kind of retracts them and pulls them in, so it breaks the connection. You've got your sync button, which we're used to on the Joy-Con. Then we've got the slot, which is kind of weird, that plugs into kind of like a little port on the rail that we'll see in a minute. And then just to the side of that is the suspected IR sensor, which would allow that to be a mouse.
Actually, the IR's. You mean another one? Because the IR sensor's right here. You can see the outline.
It is, but that is speculated to be like the mouse
Wouldn't that be a laser then?
laser, whatever. Laser.
Okay.
Just
You know
out
what
of,
I mean.
Out of interest,
Okay.
So you have
at the bottom of what we still call a rail, I think at the moment, at the SL. So keep going a bit further down with that mouse. There is an indent at the very bottom in the black. Nope, keep
Yep.
going. Keep going. There. That to
That's
me.
a screw.
Is it
That's
a
a
screw?
screw, yeah.
Okay. I
Okay,
can't
yeah.
see it very well. on
I
the
thought
screen.
you were talking about the square at the bottom of that, and what
There's a square here.
a lot of people are saying that is where the
gonna latch.
attachment for the rail
Yeah,
for like the
yeah.
Joy-Con what do you call it, grip?
Yeah.
Or whatever is going to attach there, because there is
Well, even
a
the s-
button on the end
Yeah.
of those. And
Yeah,
you-
even the
you-
strap has one.
Yeah, the strap. That's what I was talking about.
Mhm.
The strap has
Okay.
it is very close or very quick on this video that you see the actual strap. And we'll get to that here in a second. Yeah, you can go ahead. Here's the second Joy-Con. It's got the blue. The sticks are going to rotate all over the place. Let's talk button placement here. Those SLSR buttons at the top. What do you guys think about that? They're much more functional. Even looks like it's like they endeavored to make them actual buttons
Yeah.
instead of just afterthoughts.
I also think that the other button at the back isn't for release. I don't think that's going to be a release
Okay.
button. I think
You
that
don't- really?
Actually, it is a release button. They show it if you go to the web page, the Nintendo web
okay.
page. They do show it being pressed to release the Joy-Con.
well,
Okay.
then for me that's
okay.
in a bad place, because you're gonna easily you think of playing Metroid Dread, where you're having to hold
There's
this
the rail.
button, hold this button, hold that button. You can easily catch those and disconnect.
But they've
So-
pushed the
They had to
ZR
push out a
down
R.
further. Yeah. Yeah, the R, they pushed him down a little bit farther. So I think
Yeah.
it'll be okay by
Yeah.
look. But what do you think that extra button is? Do we know? And I just am not up to date
if
for
it
the
says
C.
C, this is my thing. I
Okay.
think some people have said variations on this, but I think it stands for connect. And what and so the two leading things that I've seen, and leading, I call one of them leading because it's my idea. But the other idea that I've seen is that you press that to go into some kind of like community, like Miiverse or something like that. Like what I thought it might be is a connect for gaming, like it brings up a menu for you to launch a game with someone or for you to immediately stream from the system, just like PlayStation has that ability. Like you can connect and stream. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not going to be a capture button, right? Because that's like you can already do video but the community might be a whole other thing.
That's an interesting take because I haven't seen anything that talks about that. So this is the first time I'm hearing it too. If it is that, then it's probably going to be a Nintendo safe environment to stream to.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's the walled garden of that Nintendo creates, but there's a reason for that. I mean, okay, let's stop right there. Let's pause. Any other thoughts so far on this? Because we're about to get into deep theory right here. All right. And I think they have hidden this in plain sight, or the new feature in plain sight. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
No.
Okay. So we're at this point in the video where it shows these Joy-Con on the side moving across the table with the straps like tails.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much they are mice.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
They are mice. And I can't see it being anything else. Why spend that much time in this teaser video on that specific detail? Why not just have them fly through the air and touch the switch? Oh no, it's very close. Like you're going to use this as a mouse. This is like they're telling us without telling us this is the new feature. This is the thing you're going to do with it that's different.
Yeah, what's that button for?
That's the release button for the rail.
Yeah.
But then why would that not be slightly magnetic? Like it goes.
Or let me say this. I don't think it's the release button. It's the lock button. You know how there's a lock on them, like the little lever on the ones we have now.
Oh, that's
a much better system. Those squares. Yeah. So
yeah, I think it's a release for the little square thing. Yeah.
It goes in the square. You lock it, and then you can press it to let go. What about this mouse thing? What do you guys think?
I love it. I think I sit there and look at it, and it's one of those Nintendo things where you're like, how did nobody ever? We're sitting here with the controller and we're griping. How many games do we gripe at? And we're like, well, I can't play, like Mario Maker's so difficult with all the buttons and the things and all the stuff. Like, this is so difficult. Like, nobody came up with the idea of like, we probably could make a mouse if we just broke off one of these controller parts and did a thing. Like Nintendo'd, and I can't wait to see all the games that I'm going to freaking love to play on my Switch. That's all I got to say.
If this video had dropped a week earlier and we were doing our predictions, my prediction would be we would get a new Mario Maker game within the first 6 months of launch. And here's why. Because they're going to want to show you why you need to play your games with this type of configuration.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not only that. Qual 311 is in the chat and says Pikmin with a mouse function. Yep. How much easier would Pikmin be with a mouse function? I still think we're going to see Mario Paint. In fact, I would.
Oh, I absolutely believe it.
I would edge my bets that in the direct that we will see Mario.
It's a launch title. Is that what you're saying?
I'm going to say
Mario Paint launch title.
Yeah, I'd go with.
Yeah,
that.
What if it's this console's 1-2 switch? I mean, that's the gimmick, right? So like. You need
have something to show it off.
You got to have something to show it off. Hopefully, it does a little bit better, and there's that side of that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's amazing. I look at things like Garage Builder. Sean and I were talking about this. like I quit playing that because one, I didn't have a ton of time to do it, but also it was cumbersome on a controller to get to all the different things to do what they wanted you to do. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and follow me here. What if they make it where you can play shooters with a
See, I was
mouse?
thinking that as well, but I was
What
like,
if they made it where you could play Minecraft on the
Oh,
Switch
gosh.
2 with a mouse? You know,
Yeah.
a mouse and keyboard setup, one Joy-Con, Bluetooth keyboard. There you go. Right?
not even Bluetooth keyboard, one mouse and the screen like connected into the top instead of a dock, and you know,
Yeah.
You're using the mouse with this configuration right here.
Yeah.
When it goes all the way down.
Yep.
Right? Right there.
even that as a browser.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And you're using the touchscreen and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
So we think they're the one thing I was shocked about. We think they're both mice because in like the rumors,
There's
that I heard
a laser port on both sides. I've already checked.
That was shocking to me because I'm like, okay, why do they? Like I'm trying to break out in my head. Why do they both? Why wouldn't just one be mouse? You'd
for
save some money,
left-handed
right?
people.
That's okay. That's
That's
fair.
it. Look, see, there's the thing right there. It's absolutely. I mean, it's you can do it on whichever hand you want to use.
That's fair.
And think about this: when you're gripping that like that, as I'm picturing, you know, the click is the stick because you're holding it top down, right?
Well, also look at
Why
the
wouldn't
shoulder.
CR?
Look at the
Why wouldn't
look at the
CR
shoulder
be
button.
that?
It might
Yeah,
be.
Guys,
shoulder
look at the
buttons.
look at the shoulder button. See how big it is going all the way around there. Your
Now
finger.
hold on. Now right there,
There's a left
and
and
I
ZL.
know this is weird, but to me it looks like they're not even separated. It looks like one button.
Right.
I think it's just the shadow.
It probably is. I hope it is.
It's two separate buttons because
Yeah,
it says
one of those-
L and ZL.
Yeah, one of those is definitely like a right button on a controller, and one's the left, just like you're
Yeah.
used to hitting.
Yeah.
And then you would have your thumb to be able to hit all of those four buttons on the
There's
on
your
the other
line right
side
there.
and do the
Yeah,
stick.
that's right. You see it. Tim, I'm calling this right here. We're getting The Sims and we're getting Sim City on Nintendo Switch 2. It's happening.
City Skylines, it'd work.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Yep.
Well, Justin, we were welcome back. By the way, we were just discussing what the possibilities with this. If it's a mouse, the possibility of shooting games being able to be played with a mouse, Minecraft being able to be played with a mouse, like tactical games like Warcraft, Starcraft, things like that.
There ain't
There's
no
your
way I'm
line
gonna
right
get
there.
my backside handed to me from somebody on a Switch playing Fortnite.
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest with you. Of everything that I saw, this is the thing that I am the most questionable on. And this is the thing that gives me also the most pause and concern.
Okay. Why?
So when I think of like playing couple things, and Nintendo talks about like bringing a gimmick, something different, right? The Nintendo magic. And I don't doubt that this could feel incredibly cool, right? Like I think of like like a Mario Paint or a shooter. I get concerned if now this is the gimmick unto which the thing is built upon, right? So here, let me be clear. I do not want to play Metroid Prime 4 like this.
No.
And here's the other part of it. When you think of this, this is I'm sitting at like a desk gaming situation, right? This is not I'm sitting on a couch, right? You're not busting this out and playing on your pants using the mouse controller. You're on a flight somewhere. You're going to like bust this out on the small little tray to play something, right? Like I appreciate the creativity. I appreciate what this could be, but I am concerned if Nintendo over indexes on the gimmick.
So can I just put in something there real quick? There are mice designed specifically for small places. And I even had one at one point that you can use on the little square to the left or right of your touchpad that works just as well as a regular size mouse, but was designed to specifically work in minimal spaces like a tray on an airplane or anything like that. Not saying the pants would be it, But I get your point on, your limitations there. But at the same time, I also can see Nintendo is going to show, hey, I'm going to take my game and move from the couch to the dining room table and be able to play that game there with using this mouse feature.
I
So
think I think that setup begins to quintessentially lose some of like what makes Nintendo special, which is like their couch co-op, couch experiences. Um,
but you
if
got to remember too, Justin, that we have all of a sudden all these PC handhelds that can do all kinds of amazing things. So why can't Nintendo do something that these PC, a fraction of what these PC handhelds can do?
Does a PC handheld have a remote device mouse associated
I
with it?
think one of them does.
The
Yes.
Legion Go does. It uses it uses it stand to use it as a mouse.
That doesn't make it
I-
right.
I'm saying
Can
I
I
didn't
just
say
say-
it was. I'm saying it's an option and it's an ability that maybe there's something beyond what we're thinking here that Nintendo has thought of.
So Tim, let me be clear. I'm okay with the idea. I'm okay with creative. I'm okay when Nintendo gets a little weird. What I'm worried about is when Nintendo over indexes and says, then this is how you're going to play all the things we do. This is the gimmick that we do, and it's going to be baked into every single thing that
I
we
don't
do.
think they're going to do that. But here's what I do think that they're going to do, guys. This is how we get Nintendo DS games on NSO.
How do you figure?
Using that as the pointer, and using your Switch as the second screen and your TV as the top screen.
Yeah. I here's the thing is
I understand it would be awkward, but what I'm saying is that I think that that's how we have to do it.
Here's the other part of it. If we go back to that statement before, if I don't think you have proven or shown to me what makes this special, I don't think this makes it special to the average person enough to say, sorry, you want me to play traditional video game console couch controller gaming now with a weird mouse thing?
Pikmin. You
The
weren't here when that
yeah,
got mentioned.
There's going to
Pikmin
be
with
some
this.
people like you're thinking, Justin, but there's also people who aren't even thinking of that, who are like, "Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what I'm going to do with the mouse on my Switch."
So
feature.
to
I
me,
hear
it
what
opens up-
Justin's saying. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just saying I'm saying there's also, there's the concerns that Justin's already thinking of. Like, I have a concern about space, the gimmick, being forced to use it on games I don't want to use it on. We've been through that. I get that too. And hopefully Nintendo has learned from those mistakes that we get an option to use those rather than being forced to use those.
Yeah, and that's pretty much reflects what I was going to say. So you're going to get games like 2 Point Hospital, 2 Point College,
Yeah.
Power Wash Simulator would work really well with a mouse like this, as well as all your other simulation games like Age of Empires, which is doing big at the moment over on Xbox in terms of with Game Pass. They have the new one coming.
Ooh, Age of Empires, yeah.
So you start bringing
Civilization.
Civilization.
Yeah.
So you start bringing those mouse pointer style games across to the Switch. You
With the option to do this.
with the option to do that. So you want to play it. You have like a tabletop style game. You can play anywhere. You can play it on your TV because it all works as a mouse. I don't want to play Metroid Prime 4 like this. I don't understand why when they brought the Metroid Prime remake out, they didn't give you the option to play it like nunchuck style, like you could do with the Wii. Or if you could do that, I didn't realize. But it's just adding for me, it's adding a level of variation and compatibility that the Switch already has. Like when the first original Switch came out, and I've said this numerous times on our show, is I didn't believe the gimmick. I didn't believe the gimmick of slide it into the dock, pull it out, pull the controls off, carry on playing, like the whole click thing. Like it was nothing. And it won me over big time like that. And that was they played on that gimmick a lot. I don't think the mouse thing is a gimmick they're playing on, but it is a new piece of hardware that they want to show off because you can bring so many different genres of games and so many different genres of players to your console.
I think that's it, Sean. I mean, if you use this in every game, then well, that's going to be a problem. But you're solving an issue for a genre of games that is pretty popular right now for consoles that don't have a solution. It's, well, do I want to try to play this game on a console that's going to be like clunky and hard to do because I got to push 4 buttons at the same time to get to that menu, or am I just going to try to find a PC to do it? And they're saying, bring your game to Nintendo because we got the option now. And there's an issue like, well, how are we going to do the mouse pad? I was making a joke about that. Maybe they'll have like a Labo mouse pad. You just make that sucker and it'll be like right there, and there you go.
Here's a piece of cardboard.
There is
just take it out of the box of the Nintendo box and just fold it out. And
you just break up the Switch 2 box, you just fold it around, and you got yourself a thing. No, I mean, but there is like, well, that'll be awkward. But for the right gamer that doesn't want to do a PC, that loves these sim games like Civ and the many that have been mentioned, this is going to be a sweet spot for consoles, I think. And it shouldn't be, and hopefully isn't for every game. But it's going to solve a problem for consoles that PC is eating their lunch on right now, I think.
And my last one is, just because we did like years of being a Game Pass podcast, me and Nick. Our good friend Phil over at Xbox has said he wants things like Game Pass games everywhere. So if he can bring Game Pass to the Switch via the Switch 2, and you can play cloud games like Age of Empires on the Switch, it also helps them out in terms of a third-party agreement. In that, look, hey, we're open to you bringing your games across to us via a cloud service, and we'll have them on here like that. So people who own a Switch, who have an Xbox, or who have PC Game Pass and access to the cloud services, can now play the games like Age of Empires that are on your system, or your service, from their Switch using your new hardware.
Yeah. Good thoughts. Good thoughts. Let's move on past these Joy-Con. Because I mean,
can we ask Justin what he thinks the C button is? Or the C-less C button?
Yeah, Justin, did you notice that it was blacked out in these videos? That that button was smooth, like it'd been photoshopped.
Yeah, I did notice that. That
there
one right
is.
there.
There's nothing, and that. So if it says C, the theories that we've seen are either, well, the theory that I've seen is like a community button. What I thought was maybe it's a connect button to like connect to streaming directly from the console, like the other consoles have.
Whatever you think it is that would make logical sense for Nintendo, that is not what it is.
They're not going to do it.
It is likely a button that brings you to a page where you have to vote for which color you would like for the next Joy-Con.
Fair point. I like that.
The everybody votes channel.
Likely what it is.
Did you before they showed us the actual like Joy-Cons running like mice? I think it was GameScoop that said everybody thinks it's going to be a mouse, but it's probably just going to hold it up to your head and take your temperature. That's probably what's going to happen with it.
So that'd be my that is the $100 question. Very interested in that. I do want to, and before we jump off the Joy-Cons, interestingly enough, I do want to ask, what do you guys think of the colors?
I love it.
Do you think it's neon blue and neon red, Justin? Before
I think it's neon blue and what I would refer to as a peach cream color.
Hey, look at that. Okay. This was a conversation we just had.
Tim says it's red. It's going to be red like the original.
The neon
Switch.
Red, yeah, neon red. It's just
the neon red. That is a muted
muted orange.
So Tim did this at the beginning. We had this conversation while you stepped away for a little bit. Just if you go back to the beginning of the video, the original neon red and the neon blue, it is that similar color. And I'm assuming that when you come to doing a 3D mock-up, that working with colors like we have done before, trying to make logos and stuff, is sometimes getting the color coding for things to work.
I think it's lighter.
Difficult.
My argument is why would they change the original colors if they're trying to pay homage to the original device?
I don't think
they're not trying to pay homage to it.
They're homage to the original device at all.
But that's how I took it to be when I looked at it.
I did too.
Well, everyone's crazy.
But the blue looks like the blue.
Yes, everybody
but
is.
the red
That's correct.
doesn't look like the red. Like the
Yeah.
blue of the Switch 2 looks like the blue of Switch.
It's
the
like
red
saying
I would say-
this
I
is
would
our
say it's-
past, this is our future.
Yeah, I would say
It's
it's a
like
little bit.
progression.
The blue is a little bit more muted, I think, Nick, just slightly, but like that red to peach is definitely
you're right.
muted. Here's my other question, just again curiosity. Do you think we're going to have colored Joy-Cons going forward in the same way that we do the Switch, or like in this format, or do you think like the next special edition Switches are just like this one? They're still black, but it is the color around the stick and that piece that's different. Do you know what I mean?
So here's my conspiracy theory on this. That they're ditching the red, like the red for everything, and that orangish red and blue are going to be the colors that are identified with Switch for this console. So the innards of every Joy-Con are going to be blue and orange.
Interesting. Okay.
What the outside will
That's
be
gonna
different. Just
that's
get
gonna
rid of
really
outside
limit what
could
you
be
can do with
different.
colors without being super clashy.
That's why I'm wondering if like there's a look to it that is sort of like when you see this thing together, this looks like Big Boy. Do you know what I mean? Like this
Like
looks
right
like
here.
a grown up. This looks like an adult. Like this is competing against stuff I think like the Steam Deck against
Yep.
the Rogue Ally. This is like it's sort of like
Yeah, it
this is
definitely is.
this is a little bit of the Apple, which is this is premium. It feels and looks more premium as opposed to the version before with colors with the colorful Joy-Cons feels a bit kiddish. And so if you're trying to make a step up that's going to cost you more, it's a more premium device. I think you lose those like here are the crazy colors that we have and just have these very slight accents that might allow you to still kind of personalize it. Also, it reduces the costs because if all the Joy-Cons are black with just that like little strip around there, different colors, that ain't horrible.
You can have any color you want as long as it's black.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do you think are we getting rid of Switch 1? Like, is that SKU going away?
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
It'll
Not
it'll
right
fa-
now,
It'll,
not at
it'll
first.
fade out. It'll fade out, right? For sure.
I guarantee you that what we'll see with this on the shelves is going to be the lifetime sales. Here's the line that you're going to hear: lifetime sales of the Nintendo Switch family.
Yep.
So this is going to be part of the Nintendo Switch family. But to answer your question, I think that probably they will sell the original Switch at least for one additional year.
Oh, for sure. I would actually gather. I think you're going to have a longer transition than a year. I think you're going to have a multi-year transition. I think by about year 3 is when they no longer selling Switch ones of this thing. Like
Because
like
I think
you'd be on what you'd have left of your SKU would be like the OLED and Switch 2 are what you have remaining.
yeah,
But like
that's what I was thinking.
yeah, no one's printing the old like 2017.
Yeah.
version.
No. Yeah, you'd be on to just the what is the premium now as the base before. So I get that, I like your idea of like the premium Switch, but you got to have something for my 8-year-old that's not the premium Switch then, right? So like if you're going to tell me, hey, you got to have the Switch 2 to play the newest best games, which they're not saying, but if that's the point, like, well then if I got to have a Switch 2, I don't want my 8-year-old to have this one. So you have to provide me a SKU then if it's not the premium Switch 1 for me to buy more than one for my household. Like I now have like 4.
We also had all of the successful consoles, except for 3DS, I think, get a final build, its final form, or a final redesign. Do you think Switch 1 will get a final redesign for those people who don't want to spend $400?
No.
I think the OLED was the final design. That was
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Nick, to answer your question, I think this will be the base model in a couple of years that we see it to be for Switch 2, and they'll have a Switch 2 OLED edition and they'll have a Switch 2 Lite.
The Switch Lite 2 is what I need. I think it needs to come out sooner rather than later. I'd almost say that needs more important, which is actually how it happened in history too with Switch 1, right? Switch Lite came out first.
Switch Lite and then OLED.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Is what I would end up guessing, right? And
Yeah.
your Switch Lite will end up costing you what your normal Switch would cost you now.
And
I'd-
the very possibility that there might be a Switch Lite 2 or a Switch 2 Lite is why I think, Justin, go back to your argument about the IR or whatever for the mouse. They're not going to force that on multiple games because for there to be a Switch 2 Lite without detachable mice, that would be a deal breaker.
Just
You
an
know,
accessory you have to buy.
I understand that, but I don't.
Just like the Amiibo puck. Right? When that came around for the 3DS.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the amiibo puck.
I think they might tell us more in the direct in April in terms of
Oh yeah.
They will.
we
Sure.
have this coming out in the future. But
Yeah.
Hey, where's the C button on this clip?
It's gone.
I like how we all looked in, right? We're like, wow.
What?
Completely gone.
If you look from the side, no, I'm just kidding.
God damn it.
Oh, there
Oh,
it is.
there it
There it
is.
is. There it is.
There
It's
it
just
is.
it was in the shadows. Like
No, what you
Batman.
don't know, Marty, is if you hold it just right, it goes away. It's just that you just
So
This is the new thing that lights up, but they never
Yep.
use it.
Exactly. It'll just randomly light up for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
So, can we point out something here too? That why I think this is the base colors for the marketing
Mhm.
going
I
forward.
just thought of that.
The inside rail here is
Yeah.
blue and orange.
it's a
so-
great call, Marty.
They're
Mhm.
going to use these colors. That's going to be, you know how like now we get the little drop in with the click on the red background Nintendo
Yep.
Switch. You're going to see these two colors and the clap for Switch 2.
Yeah.
I think they're going all I think they're going all in on these colors.
Yeah.
I really do.
My Switch has the clap.
I don't. And
There's
this,
your title.
this is such a great shot at that motherboard chip that gives me a level of
Yeah.
anxiety
Uh-huh.
of some kid just trying to like jam their Joy-Con. It's not fitting,
What?
right? And you're
Not
like,
only
oh,
that,
twisted.
are my kids the only one that I have to be like, hold it with two hands because they like hold it from a Joy-Con and they're just like walking around like that. I'm like, no,
See,
no, you can't.
that's
Yeah.
that's the
Like-
the beauty of the actual rails because they grip from all directions. That
Yeah, I'm
image
nervous
and
about it.
that thought worries me. So
Yeah.
Unless
Well-
it's not as like what is we don't know obviously, but I'm just saying like what is the depth of that? Maybe it's not sticking out as far as this like animation makes it look because yeah, it looks like it's like you could just reach in there.
It's
and
not
snap it.
sticking out past the side of the tablet.
Yeah, I get that.
Recessed
But
in there.
like how
So-
far is that
So,
ridge?
yeah, if I-
Is that the ridge?
it also
ridge and the
depends
rail?
on the tolerances in terms of like the side of the Joy-Con sticking into it. If there's no wiggle and you've got the magnetic, you aren't ever going to be able to, and I'm just looking at it from like a physics perception, you aren't ever going to be able to snap that thing off. And because of how it's recessed all the way around, I'm assuming you can never put that Joy-Con in without that being lined up. And I think the hole on the side of the controller is probably going to be so much bigger than that little bit that sticks in that it's been over-engineered. For me, if I was going to make this, I'd over-engineer it so that isn't possible. because
Again,
you don't.
Nintendo's gonna make it like botch proof if as much as they can.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
they don't want
they don't want to have to pay those millions of dollars again, right? To have Joy-Con
Joy-Cons.
repairs.
Exactly.
Well, and that's not gonna be Joy-Con repairs. That's gonna be like motherboard
Yeah.
big system repairs, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Joy-Cons, they'd be like, oh, I'm happy to give you $100 to fix that thing, but that's not good.
I knew that there was a reason I was saying that those are going to be the flagship colors, and it's because they're literally inside the tablet itself.
That's a great call.
And that
You
is a
also-
sexy
yeah.
shot right there.
yeah,
Look at
yeah,
that.
that's the
Look
big
at
boy
that thing.
shot. Right.
See-
That's the grown up big, you've gone through puberty.
This
balls
is
of
mom and
drop shot.
dad's Switch, right?
Yeah.
This is not
Oh,
your
yeah.
Switch. This is mom and dad's.
Do you also notice that when the Joy-Cons come in, they're all coming in from the bottom when they lock in?
They
Like
do.
I've not seen any of it where like they kind of lead with the top. It's all leading with the bottom. Even this one, right? Leads with the bottom,
Yep.
kicks in, and there's like that. And so it's almost as if that top magnet really pulls. And then same one here. Boom.
Notice that there's like once it starts going in, it's like It's a very swift, like it's like that magnet engages and it just guides it over that ridge thing that you're talking about, the little motherboard piece, whatever that is, the coupling.
Did you guys see the plus sign and minus side on each side too?
Yeah.
I just now I'm noticing that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if you're colorblind, you know which way it goes.
Yeah. Do we think because remember how many times people are like, I put the Joy-Cons on upside down the first
First
time
thing
you had
I
the Switch,
did.
right?
Yeah, I ripped it out of the box and I'm like, oh, I broke it. I totally ruined my Switch. I've killed it.
Do we think
First
these
thing
are
I did.
hollow stick or hollow effect sticks?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. There's this ridge that goes up, like where the color starts.
Yeah.
It goes up toward the stick. And the other thing too is that like on the actual video, like of the Joy-Con, those sticks are like rotating around and around and around and around.
Yeah.
And it makes it, to me, it's like we're emphasizing this is not going to drift. We're telling you without saying it. These are Hall effect.
Yeah.
Like we've engineered these better.
And when they spin round, it's like the outer cover and the inner cover. So there's very little way that anything should be able to get in
Yes.
there.
I love it.
I
love it.
Mhm.
See, like right there, you see that it's got a little ridge to it, a little incline.
Love it.
Tim, you're doing great, by the way. I just got to tell
Oh,
you,
this is fantastic.
like Marty says, one of us say something, and you're like
Yeah.
right there with
It's Tim
the
doing
money
this.
shot.
I was going to give a
So
compliment to Jesse.
can we move
but
to the
no.
actual? Can we move to the actual like shot of Mario Kart 9 now?
Yeah, let's
Because
go-
I want
let's
to
go
talk.
to some-
I really want to talk about that.
Just
Okay.
before we go into Mario Kart 9, all I want to say is that the Switch did this great thing with bringing us a handheld that none of us had really seen that we all wanted, and then they brought the OLED and just made it an even more premium product. And then you've seen all the other third parties that have started to do stuff like Steam Deck and stuff, and they do look really good. But I look at this and I think to myself, like this is the industry leader for
Oh yeah.
a handheld.
Yes.
And
100%.
Oh,
And
for
like
sure.
when you've seen like, and I got to see a Steam Deck in the wild a while ago, and I'm like, they're like, wow. But
Okay. Can we stop right here?
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
Those are chunky.
I want to go back just a hair there, Tim, and I want to point out the background of these shots. Look at the color. They're showing you without telling you this is it. There's a huge emphasis on these two colors.
Yeah.
Neon blue and neon red. Yep, I see that.
What if that extra square button that we keep saying is a community button? What happens if that's an AI button? I'm just thinking because everything has AI now.
And then it plays the game for you. Great. I love it.
What if it's C for call, because this is a cellular device and you can make calls on it, and it's the Nintendo phone that we've heard about for so long.
Maybe it connects to your coffee maker. I'm just
You
saying.
know what it
A
is? It's
coffee
actually it's the red pill versus the blue pill, and you gotta choose one for the Matrix.
I do want to take a little bit of a note here. How thin that bezel is here.
I love it, man.
No, but it's important. Look at how thin the bezel is here. Watch when we transition over to gameplay, because the bezel changes.
Before we
they've done-
do,
they
can I
did that
just
before.
can I just say I kudos to Nintendo for being like, we're just gonna put a 2 there. Like that takes a lot of guts to not do anything with the logo and just be like, we're just gonna put a 2 there and
You know
that's
what
it,
drives-
and
you know what
call it a day.
Drives me nuts about it, but is also genius about it at the same time. Is it drives me nuts that the upper ridge on the 2 is not at the same height as the Switch icon. It's bigger than the Switch icon
Is it?
by just a little bit, a little bit. But here's the thing. Why is that genius? Because it draws your eye to it. There's no mistaking that this is Nintendo Switch. This is 2. This is a new one.
I do.
It's
think
out
again,
of place enough that you see it.
This is the Apple, right? This is the Apple work right at it right here. This is the back of your iPhone with the Apple logo, and you know what that is. That's what that work is, right?
Yeah.
Except they're like, we're telling you what it is. The other thing I would say here is, I would love to know how many millions of dollars they sent with a PR research firm to say, what do we call this new thing? And they're like, 2. And that cost a lot of money to figure out that it was 2.
And
Also,
here's-
you can sort of see the colors through here.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
I
on
love
sides.
that. I think it's great.
Yeah. So can I point out this too about those that button that Tim is actually just pointing out right there?
Just rubbing the nose on it.
The way that those are, we were talking about accidentally hitting those, earlier.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it looks like they're a press out toward the outside of the
Yeah.
system
Yeah, so
than
you
toward
press
the
as you
inside
pull.
of the system. So as you're pushing down those triggers on the sides, the shoulder buttons, you're actually more likely to just kind of glance over that in the direction. It almost looks sloped, like your fingers are supposed to slide over it so that you pull it off.
Yeah,
to
that's
the
it.
side.
You're going to be pressing those in at the same time as pulling. So the ergonomics for me is
Yes.
now I see it again. I'm like, okay,
I want to ask a question here, which is when you look at the back of your Switch and you open it up, there's the kickstand and there's the, when the old one, the like little thing that kind of fell apart there, right? And then the new one with the long flat. What was sitting behind that kickstand?
SD slot.
Where's the SD slot in this?
I've got one. Internal memory, I reckon you're going to get them at the 200. You're going to get a 120 for 256.
Well, now hang on.
I thought it was
We
at
have
the bottom.
not, we've
go
not
to like
seen
25
this.
seconds.
We've not seen this really in good lighting. That's not it. Wait, that might be. That might be.
No,
the
that's
SD.
not the S. The
There's the
USB right
USB-C.
here. Yeah.
So what is that behind it?
That's
Yeah.
a location. That's for locating. You've got
Yeah, that's
is
this
that,
thing right here.
Okay, so
That's
the
this
Switch
thing
has
right
the divot
you're
that
right,
locks
you're
it
right,
into
you're
the
right,
dock.
you're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
So here's
Yeah,
my thing. What if it is under that kickstand? We just can't see it because the lighting's not good in that video.
You can see it
chose
a little
not
bit right
to-
here.
I mean,
Right here.
to be fair, C
Okay,
button
I see,
disappeared
Enhance.
and then came back into light.
Right. So I mean,
I can't enhance
it's just
that.
mask.
Zoom in.
Yeah,
Enhance.
that's got to be.
It's but look, if CSI has taught me anything, all we have to do is look at the computer and say enhance, and it will do it. Picture
Right
perfect
there.
clarity.
So
It's right there.
if they go to the effort of changing the Joy-Cons, foolproofing the stick drift, developing hardware for a mouse, but then don't stick a uprated memory system in there where you're then having to fish out for another micro SD card or port your current micro SD card across, which will and wouldn't work. That is probably going to be the only thing that would turn me off from this.
Oh,
is if you don't-
Sean, this is going to be buy your own micro SD. I will bet you on that. I will buy you a six.
gonna be a new micro SD.
Zero alcohol Guinness.
It's going to be a minuscule SD.
Going to be a micro SD, 100%.
a mini micro.
What is this? Why are we on the Alarmo video?
What has happened? Tim, you were doing so good. What happened?
Just needed a
So
sleeping
I-
Mario.
I love it. Hey, so
Let's
yeah.
talk Mario Kart.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's talk the end. As it transitions over to showing this Mario Kart, when it first appears on the screen, I want you to pause it right there, right there. Speculation already. There's 24 spots at the beginning.
Look at that cat as
24
well. Just while we're there, look at that cat.
Yeah,
What's wrong with that?
Tank tracks and ski
It's got
fronts.
skis. It's a skidoo.
Skidoo.
So
yeah.
this is
For those
so
of you
we're-
that don't
so
know
we're
what a
seeing,
skidoo is, by the way, it is a snow vehicle that runs very dominantly in the Great White North.
Okay. So we're seeing here it's very blatant Mario Kart, the wording over that Mario Brothers circuit. And we see I immediately when they show that, it's like, well, that looks like a new track, but then it also looks like new carts. And then go just forward just a little bit. So yeah, there's the skidoo, as Justin is calling it. And you got Rosalina driving that, or maybe baby Rosalina. I know that's Rosalina. And then there's some it looks like motorcycles, and then you see this brand new design of the iconic Mario Kart, right? And that's when you're like, okay, this is brand new, right? I'm just going to ask this right here off the bat: is Mario Kart 9 a launch title for Nintendo Switch 2?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm 100% in on that theory. They strategically showed this game to say you'll be playing this day one, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Okay, so now it's going to go in the dock, which they literally showed nothing about the dock, not other than here it is. There's a dock, and there's a cord coming out of it.
And it has a green light still.
Yeah,
It is, and it's a different shape. I'm looking at the OLED now, and the arcs at the front of the dock.
yeah.
on the OLED is
It
small.
matches the form factor of the Joy-Con.
Yeah, it's a more rounded edging, right? For sure.
Yep,
the
Tim's
dock
holding up
that
his
Tim's
dock
holding up now is much
for
more
comparison.
rectangular, much more. I mean, the edges are rounded, but
Yep.
this is actually definitely got a larger kind of rounding on it.
That's
The thing
because I mean the
the thing-
dock's not that important.
Yeah, the thing that I'm interested in, I think someone said it in the chat as well, or one of our questions, which is like more of the screen in the dock appears to be visible. Is that deliberate? Right?
It's
Do we
probably 'cause the Switch
anticipate?
is bigger.
Yeah, well, like, do we anticipate? That's a great point. That actually switched that dock size may be actually the same size as the current dock, but the Switch is just bigger, so by default it points out. But because we see visibly on the screen, do we anticipate like, hey, here's a clock in the left-hand corner, and here's a
Yeah.
wallpaper, and
Could
a little
be.
bit more customizability in viewing it.
So I love here too. You see the grip, the new grip.
Yep.
It is also colored on the inside on the rails. If you
It's-
see that very quick.
As nice as it is to have
There
that
it is.
Switch
Oh,
2,
yeah, look at
And
that.
notice that it has the same little chip hanging out
Yep.
on the side,
what are those bits?
right?
That's the connection, Sean.
And look,
No,
notice that like
at the back of
you
the
know
grip.
the Switch grip, you would slide those Joy-Con down into it, right? And it had like a little pocket at the bottom, kind of catching it.
Yep.
Notice this one's just flat. You're just sliding those suckers on from the sides.
And again, as we notice as it comes in, it leads from the bottom.
Yeah, show
There
that.
wasn't any connection on the other. I mean, unless you got the powered grip though, right? There was no connection
No,
on the
there was-
old grip. It was
Nope.
just to hold it, right? So if there's a chip, there must be something more going on in that grip. Wouldn't that
Yep.
seem to be the case?
Yep.
It's a great
Because-
call, it, Nick.
Improved rumble.
Yeah, because it's like the old grip was just there to
HD or
make
rumble.
it hold.
Even
yeah.
more HD rumble.
The thing I don't want is I don't want that Switch 2 logo in the middle of my grip and on the front of my dock. So I'm hoping that is
Really?
just there for presentation. Yeah, really. I don't. It's
No, it's there. I promise you, it's going
Yeah,
to be
it's there.
just
It's
like
just-
that.
it's not clean. I don't like. It's. I'm pretty certain there isn't a Switch.
Yeah, but when somebody
logo
comes
on
into
the
your house, you
front
can
of
be
it.
like, "I got
There's
the
a
Switch
switch.
too,
There's
boy."
there's a Switch logo on your current dock.
No, he's talking about
Sure
the grip.
is.
He's
I'm
talking about the
literally
grip.
looking at it.
He's talking
There's
about
a-
the grip.
The
And the
grip's
grip.
got a logo on it too, right?
No,
No.
the grip doesn't have
I
that.
don't
Grip
know.
was plain.
Oh. Well,
Also,
these-
when you guys got the Switch, like, how many of you actually played with this controller?
I did
I didn't get a
originally.
Pro
For like a
controller.
total of like a month or two, and then I'm like, nope, we're getting a Pro controller. Ain't doing
yeah,
this.
well,
I
I
didn't
got a
have-
Pro
I
controller
didn't have
from
a
day
Pro
one, but
controller.
We,
I didn't have a Pro controller
I-
for a long time.
what's the problem? Like, I really didn't mind the grip.
I didn't either.
No,
It didn't bug
He's
me.
talking about the logo on the front of the grip.
No, he's talking about how many
Okay.
people used it. I'm saying
Oh, okay.
I didn't mind it. I
Yeah,
still will use it every
I-
now and then.
I
Like,
used
I
it-
will
I
let
used it
somebody
for
else
the-
have my Pro controller.
I used it for
And
the
I'll-
first couple months, and then I was like, nope.
Okay.
I only let the smallest child, so I only let Logan
That's fair.
play the
So
with
I'm
that controller.
draw your attention back to Mario Kart on the back screen again.
go.
The speculation from this video and the way
See
it
what you
closes out here is that this is an open world. Because if you'll go just a little bit forward, Tim, there's like they drive by a gas station looking thing on the right as this brief view closes out. And it looks pretty expansive.
Yeah, a couple things I want to call out here, and I would be remiss if I do not call this out right now. What have they done to Donkey Kong?
I love it.
They have remodeled him, very much inspired by the Mario
Yeah.
movie. Look, I'm not angry about it, but it was definitely the first thing that caught my attention. Is that he appeared to have got a bit of a glow up in regards to his appearance. The other part of it that I would say here is very similarly, what's the hook? Right? What makes this video does not tell me why this Mario Kart is special.
It's not supposed to.
Well, I would like to see something at least.
It's not
right?
supposed to. They're going to tell you that on 4/2/2025.
Or sooner, according to some rumors.
Justin, if you remember the Switch 1 reveal, they showed Mario Kart 8. What was the hook?
Yeah, but we all knew what Mario Kart 8 was, which was great.
Yeah.
You mean Mario Odyssey? You mean Mario Odyssey?
I mean, Mario Odyssey was there, sure, but I'm saying the Mario Kart in that original thing, what was the hook other than it showed King Boo?
No, but the hook was at that point what's the special thing that this Mario Kart does that the other Mario Karts don't do?
It looks like it might be off-road.
Like what I'm saying is,
Justin,
guys,
you
what
can
I'm
be in a
saying
ski-doo.
is
That should make you very happy. What more do you want?
Also, I put a ski-doo.
What I'm saying is that the original video had showed us a little bit of Odyssey, so that they're doing the same thing here. There was no, what's the point of Odyssey? Other than the 3D Mario, what's going to hook me in?
That's a brand new 3D Mario.
It was just that, there's going to be a new 3D Mario. I can't wait to learn more about that. And I think that's the same idea behind, this is going to be a new Mario Kart. I can't wait to learn more about that. Yes, what's the hook is the question, but we're going to learn more about that.
Well, I think Marty, weren't you the one that said, is it Mario Kart? Is it going to be Nintendo Kart? Like, what is it going to be?
Maybe this is just a Mario Kart track inside Nintendo Kart. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's themed, it's a Mario themed track inside a different, a new way of doing Mario Kart. That's all.
Yeah, and I do think there has to be, I would hope there doesn't have to be anything, but I'd hope there would be something more than, they didn't want to have to make it Mario Kart 8 Deluxer, so they decided we should probably come out with Mario Kart 9. So
Nintendo Kart,
hopefully there's something.
Smash Kart, something like that. Yeah. So it cuts from there to this 2025 date.
Yeah. Now talk about this. Now, what do you guys see in this 2025? What's so special about? No, I'm kidding.
I see two twos, a 0, and a 5.
If you add
those up,
it's 9, which means it must be September. There you go. We figured it all out.
Stole my line, Nick. This is what I want us to talk about. This screen comparing the two. Look at the size difference there. It's shown plays Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games as well as Nintendo Switch games asterisk. So it says it plays both physical and digital games. Certain Nintendo Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. Details will be shared on the Nintendo website at a later date. What games aren't compatible?
That annoys me ever so slightly.
Labo.
Ring Fit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not until they get out a new ring.
Those Joy-Cons will not fit in there.
So just very quickly, one more thing on Mario Kart is you were all thinking like karts, what's the hook, what's this, what's that? What have we never seen in Mario Kart? What vehicle have you never driven?
A ski-doo, we get it.
No. Think about you. I'm gonna put it this way: Breath of the Wild. You could be up a little bit, you could be on the ground, and then Tears of the Kingdom, you could be up really high, and you could be really far over the ground. What if in Mario Kart 9 they decided, let's let these guys fly properly?
Interesting.
Ooh.
You have the open world aspect, and you have a system that now has a more graphical and larger, and potentially larger, like processing power in terms of vast area. If you're going to go as open world as this, why not let everybody fly?
Mario Kart Racing.
Why do all of these carts in this shot have fire shooting out the back of them?
Because they just
they've all gone over the booster.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do remember the boost. I'm like, what is this? It's rocket boosters. It's flight. Here we go. Let's see. Does he run over the?
Yeah,
he definitely does. Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah. But then you see like little explosions. I guess it's from where they're hitting each other.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're
Doesn't
hitting each
anybody
other.
want to
colliding.
go into Yoshi's Diner? That's my
Right?
question.
Like get the shiny thing that's there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why? Yeah, there's those question blocks. I mean, the turbo pads are definitely redesigned. The block that's over there has flames coming off of it. So there's, I mean,
I
I'm
wonder if
loving the look of this.
one of the hooks for this might be a little bit more of design your own cart.
Oh yeah.
Right.
like in the movie?
Whereas opposed to just the like, here's the wheels, here's the body,
Mhm.
here's the parachute. It's here's the body, the wheels, the parachute. You get to add like something like boosters on the back of it, or I wonder if there's a bit more of a customization at the cart level.
You get
I
to use
love
the
that.
mouse, Justin, to put the cart together, and then
You can you can draw your own logo, your own designs, and
Yeah, that's what the C button's for. Capture pour drawing on a button.
Bring the
Yeah,
designs
yeah, I
from
love
Mario Paint to the cat.
yeah, I love it. So good. So again, we see the thing about or the date. It's coming out this year. We've got the Switch compatibility, which this is huge. Like they needed to put this in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was confirmed back in October that it was backwards compatible, but it wasn't like we weren't for sure if it was like digital, physical. This is great that it's clear.
Yeah.
Casuals need to see this.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Casuals.
And then, well, I mean, that's what they are.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
Well, they
non.
don't. What they don't say is Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games can be played digitally on the
Yeah.
original Switch.
Yeah.
Like,
Does it go the other
Yeah.
way?
so,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the new Mario Kart game that you want, you have to own the Switch 2 console to play it.
Well,
Or
you're
you can-
definitely going to have to play Mario Kart 9. You're definitely going to have to own Switch 2. They're not going to do games on Switch 2. I saw somebody saying that today. What if they could just do it, make it where it's compatible on the original Switch? No, they're not doing that. Why? Because they want to sell these things.
Marty, wasn't one of your predictions that there was going to be smart delivery last week?
No,
Oh, it wasn't? I thought you had a prediction of smart delivery.
no.
last
My
week. My
my
bad.
prediction was that the final game on Nintendo Switch would be Metroid Prime 4, and it would also launch on Switch 2.
Oh, okay. I thought you.
That
I
would
thought
be
you
the
said something
final
about smart
first party
delivery.
game. No, I didn't know. He didn't say smart
So-
delivery.
I didn't call it smart delivery, but I said that you could put Switch 2 carts in a Switch 1. That was my
Oh, okay.
crazy wild prediction
Okay,
that you could
okay,
put it in a Switch
okay.
1 and it
I
would
knew one of you.
downgrade
Yeah, my
it.
bad.
So-
Yeah,
so
sorry. I
this is
come
the
from
thing.
Xbox, which it's called smart delivery.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's totally fine. It's not going to be called that here. It probably won't even be a thing, because of Nintendo, right? I'm just buy the
But
system.
what about business? You gotta. I mean, you want to sell these, but if,
So
if
here-
the first game is at least partially able to go over to your other 100 million units, I mean,
Here's what I think's more likely.
just wondering.
What's more likely is day one patches for existing games that make them even more awesome on the Switch 2.
Yeah, but we're talking about Switch 2 games that you still want to
It's
sell
not going to
to
happen.
users on the Switch
No,
1.
We're
it's-
talking about Nintendo who made a brand new 3DS just to sell one game. Xenoblade Chronicles was the only game that had to be played on a Nintendo Switch new 3D or a new Nintendo 3DS.
But that
Yeah.
would, I mean, if you're gonna have a transition of what you guys saying is like a year or so, then you're gonna highly limit what Mario Kart 9 can make in a year. I mean, not that it's not gonna make a lot. It's probably gonna have a crazy attach rate of like almost 1-to-1. But still, if you guys are saying there's this transition of a year and you're gonna limit it off of one, you're not that
Because what
Nintendo
they're
doesn't
going to
leave money on the
say
table.
is this. They're going to say our third party and indie partners will continue to release games. There are literally
Maybe.
8,000 games for Nintendo Switch. Enjoy.
Sure. Maybe.
Here's my speculation is the following, Nick, which is you will see about a 2 to 3 year transitional period. Nintendo will continue to support the original Nintendo Switch with games that will be playable on the Switch 2. There will be, I think, I don't know when you start seeing this is a Switch 2 exclusive from Nintendo. I think you're going to have third-party games that are 100% only going to be
Sure.
compatible on Switch 2. I think like
Sure, yeah.
you want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Elden Ring, that's going to be a Switch 2. But I think Nintendo would be very worried to leave behind the 160,000 or million units and users out in the wind of being like, well, you want this, you got to come here. Right? I think it is a slow transition over to eventually saying this is fully exclusively a Switch 2 game. And so I don't know what game that is, when that is. Mario, like if there's an incentivizing game to move someone, it's either Mario Kart or Animal Crossing, and the numbers show that. Right? Those are the two games that are going to like be system movers for people to make that transition. I don't know if so I wouldn't be shocked if Mario Kart 9 is compatible on the original Switch, but it's just not as compatible.
Sure.
The features are not as rich. You want to play 24 players online? Sorry, only the Switch 2 is able to do that. You've got the regulars, right? You sort of like begin to take away some features and options that may not be able to begin to make a bit of a case for those things. It'll be very interesting.
That makes sense.
That is exactly what I've been saying about what this is. It's not going to be two different carts for the two different systems. It's going to be one cart that can be used on both systems up to a certain point.
Yeah.
But thank you
And respectfully, I think you're all wrong, but we're not going to get into it because we've already spent an hour and 45 minutes talking about a 2-minute trailer.
So just before we do break away,
but wait.
The series.
Sorry, real quick, just to interrupt, Jesse. I don't know what happened, but all I see is 3 squares or rectangles on the stream. Did I stop sharing my screen or something? Or
I still see it.
There we go. We're fading out.
So I had
there it is.
Problem on my side, and my mic fell off.
Go ahead, Sean.
All right, thanks.
The PS5 and the Series S and X came out in November 2020. We are still getting games made by both PlayStation and Xbox 4 years later that people on the PS4 and people on the Xbox Series, Xbox One and X and One S can play. That's 4 years, and they've held to that, and it's been very good that they've done that. I believe we are slowly over the next 12 to 18 months going to see that stop because we have to. So the Switch can do the same.
I agree, Sean. I agree. When it gets to the point of, here's what, like, it's again, I'm going to use the iPhone model as the same, right? Everything on the iPhone really works. It's awesome, great. But if you want Apple Intelligence and you value that, then you need to upgrade, right? And so if you really value Mario Paint and using some game that only has that mouse feature because that's how we've built it in, that's the carrot. That's the carrot that dangles. Right? That's the carrot that moves people. And so I think that will be interesting. But I think your example of like the transition for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, the Xbox, again, we got 160 million units out in the cold. We're not just being like closing the door, being like, y'all, we out. Thanks very much. Right? Because you are going to cut your nose off. They cannot lose that momentum. They need to make a smooth transition. And they have the ability from a hardware perspective to make software perspective to make absolute bank if they can make that transition successful.
Yeah, that's part of it. But I think the one part of it is the physical media that was being called out that I think Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, you're saying is still going to be separate. And I was saying it's going to be one cart that can be used in either device. Because I understand the whole thing about, because with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, but those are still two separate discs.
Yeah. And you're going to get the same with the Switch and the Switch 2. So you'll have a Switch version and you'll have a Switch 2 version. So
yeah, I was saying that the technology they're going to use is the ability to have this games on the same cart. Where you can put that same cart in the Switch.
Yeah.
Or put it in the Switch 2, and you'll get the two different things that happen that you were saying, Justin. But Marty is saying, no, that's not going to happen.
I'm just saying that I don't think that they're going to, that to me, you take your franchise that was the number one selling game across 8 years of Nintendo Switch, and you're going to say, yeah, it'll work on the old one too. You don't have to buy a new one. That's dumb. That's not good business. They're going to want to sell Switch 2s, so they're going to make games off the bat that are this is it. You upgrade or don't. And if you don't want to upgrade, great. You've got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Animal Crossing and Mario Wonder and Mario blah blah blah, all this stuff in the back. There's literally more games than you could ever play on Nintendo Switch. Have fun. The rest of us are going to go on and play on the Switch too.
Well,
I'm
we
not saying
probably will
like,
find out on April
the
2nd.
way that you guys talk about it makes it sound like somebody's like a kid standing there with a lollipop, like, please, sir, can I play a game? And you're slamming the door in their face, going, no, kid, shut up. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm
But to
talking
the
about that, like,
casuals, that's what's
when
going to happen.
Yeah.
it's going to happen at some point. 3 years in is way too far. And I would argue that the only reason that Xbox and PlayStation have continued to do what they've done for the last 5 years is simply because people couldn't find the freaking console to buy it.
Yeah, that's also
So they
true.
had to have the backup plan of, man, scalpers are running us ragged, so I guess we've got to make this game for PlayStation 4 too. Because a great example of that is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. It was PS5 exclusive. It was the very first PS5 exclusive, and it did not perform well in the beginning because people couldn't get PS5s. But there's no way that game could have run on a PS4. At least I don't think so. So at least the way it was engineered. And I think that if you're gonna like if the Switch 2 is as big a leap as we want it to be, then it's going to be nigh on impossible to have a game that works on both consoles on the same cart. Now, if they want to do a Switch version of Mario Kart 9, absolutely. I understand that. But I think that there's going to be a Switch 2 exclusive version, and that's going to be it. It's going to be like Metroid Prime 4. You can play it on Switch, but if you play it on Switch 2, you're going to enjoy it a lot more because the graphics are going to be better. It's going to perform better. It's going to be the same game. There's not going to be any special bells and whistles, but that's it. That's the last one that we're doing, and then from there, they're not going to match up unless there's an exclusive Switch version. I also don't think that they're just going to cut their nose off. I don't think that's going to happen. But I can't see them hobbling Switch 2 to continue to cater to Switch 1.
Hey guys, what if that button is an upres button?
Yeah. C for clarity.
So for me,
I
if you
like
want the overlapping period is, and the first big game that comes out on the Switch 2, which won't come out on the Switch, to bring people over, to get them over that final hurdle for me, is the next major Zelda title. So 6 years between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where that came out in Tears of the Kingdom came out in 2023. So by the time the Switch 2's been out and established, if you want to go to 4 years, that puts nearly 6 years between the two, the Tears of the Kingdom title and the next big Zelda title that will drag everybody from Switch OG OLED to Switch 2.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Good argument.
Absolutely. Guys, our hearts, minds, eyes all clear on this trailer. We
I
good?
want it. I want it now. Give it now.
I do. I saw that date, April 2nd, and I was like, oh no. I was thinking like hopefully in March.
Did anybody have like friends or family text them and be like, Nintendo's coming out April 2nd. It's coming out. And I was like, no. You missed it. It's coming out in 2025. That's the direct. I had like 2 people text me.
I was one of them.
Family. Yeah.
I was one of them.
Oh, you were? That's right. I was like, no. Look again.
I saw the date and thought, oh, it's coming out in April. That's amazing.
Justin, in the pre-show, you made a rather bold claim about the release date of this system.
Sure.
You said what?
I said I believe it'll be released mid-June, early July.
I thought you just said July.
No.
Okay.
No.
And what's your thinking on that? Why?
Just well, a couple things. I think the cadence that we have in relation to, and I wouldn't really necessarily put what Nintendo has done in the past with the Switch as the kind of the pacing, but if we're kind of looking at a little bit of the alignment of the pattern last time, the other part of it is the hands-on experience that they're offering goes all the way until like middle of June. And so I think that that may be an indicator that they are not ready to have it out the door quite yet. I think that if they had it ready for like a May release, I think that we'd be having that direct in like March. I think that turnaround time would be a little bit lower, and so I'm going to take a bit of a ballpark here that we're going end of June, early July. So the back half of 2025 is going to be a banger for Switch 2 games. I think that's where you're going to see, by the way, we come out with Mario Kart in June or July. I think that's where you see Metroid in September, the new Mario in October, Pokemon Za in November, right? Like you just start to sort of see the pieces really start to stack up. And so I think for the old Switch folks who are currently existing, we need coverage for the next several months. And Nintendo needs to have a direct in February telling us why we need to still stay engaged and still purchase content that we know is backwards compatible, playable on the same system, but we need to be okay to still go out and purchase games and still be engaged with that. So they still need to move software in the first half of 2025, and so they need to create some compelling stories, and we need to direct tell us why do that.
I just
Can I?
wonder about the events that you mentioned that I can't remember, and I'm Googling and I can't find anything. Didn't some of those hands-on events for the original Switch take place post-launch as well?
I don't remember to have to check.
Yeah.
We
Can I
don't
say as a
know when the launch is,
consumer,
though.
Consumer Nick, go ahead. Yeah.
as a consumer, they really need to tell me, as a guy who only has so much cash, I'm trying to see to be like, okay, I got a console and there's games I'm going to want to get. Like, they need to tell me what games I need to prepare for on like a wallet way for Switch 2, because right now
Mhm.
I don't have Donkey Kong Returns. Why? Because I only have so much cash and I don't know when or what I need to buy in the
Yeah.
next 6 months for Switch 2. So like if they tell me that, they might have a sale from me on Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong Returns. But until I know that,
Yeah.
I'm frozen.
We don't have clarity in their roadmap. We Nintendo traditionally will show us what they're doing for the first 6 months, and then at that June July, right in that Nintendo
Yeah.
Direct event, they're going to turn the channel or turn the corner, and then we're going to learn a whole bunch of it there. That's why we need that information. We do need something from them in regards to where and why that we are actually doing those things. The other question I'm going to ask is are we going to see a price increase for Nintendo Switch 2 games comparatively to what they are currently? Right. I think, are we going to see, what Tears of the Kingdom was $10 more, right? Are we going to see all Switch 2 games for the first couple of
Yes.
years be $10 more? And that's the new set price that's going to be moving at. Like that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do we think that you said like you knocked Mario a new Mario game out a couple months? Like we're not just dropping. Do you think we're just dropping with Mario Kart as a Nintendo published title?
I think that's in
No.
the, I think,
And if
I
not,
don't,
what is the next title? What is that other title you think?
I don't know what the other title is, but I think Mario Kart's the driver. No,
Yeah.
mind the
Pun intended. I like it.
pun intended, right? I think that's the primary driver. I wouldn't be shocked if we have some um Kirby.
I feel like there's
maybe?
got to be something else
I
that
don't
doesn't.
know.
That drives a lot of people. You're right. It doesn't necessarily drive me, but I'm an odd consumer.
Here's actually I apologize, Nick. I'm going to back up. There'll be some weird gimmicky game that will
With a
not be
mouse.
bundled in that we're all going to say should have been bundled in because why did I just pay $50 for this game? I'm looking at you, 1-2 Switch. That will help to demonstrate and show why you are using the mouse. And so it's Snipper Clips 4.0 or whatever it is. And that's the thing. I think, Sean, you said that a couple moments ago. There
gonna
will
be
have a game exclusively made by Nintendo that is going to drive the reason why you need it from the tech side of it, plus Mario Kart. Right. That will be
It's going to be a music game called Switch 234.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Actually, Nick, here's what it is. It's Mario Paint. It's Mario Paint and Mario Kart.
It probably is Mario Paint, and that will be good for my
did we
predictions.
say that? Didn't we say that in the beginning of this?
Yeah, yeah,
funny.
that could be Mario Paint.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
that's all. That's all of our talk about Switch 2. Here's some very brief news. Also, Nintendo also announced a other console this within the past week. Lego Game Boy will be released also in 2025. Not a real like working Game Boy, but a Game Boy that you can build, much like the NES system that is currently out. Lego Game Boy will be available October 2025. Also, Alarmo will be available at retailers beginning in March. There will be no NSO requirements for purchase, so this will be in North American regions to begin with Europe soon to follow. And then Platinum Games also announced that Bayonetta's 15th anniversary is this year. Platinum basically says we have a few things in store to celebrate this milestone, so keep your eyes peeled, which means obviously that they're going to do probably Bayonetta 3 HD Redux on Switch 2. There you go. I mean, why not? Right? There you go. So that's our news. Let's discuss. All right. So our question of the week that we've already beaten to death, but we're going to do it anyway, is the Nintendo Switch 2 officially revealed? In this morning's teaser trailer, the question has to be asked, what are your thoughts and feelings on the successor to the Nintendo Switch? You've heard ours. Here's yours. David Bileka says, super excited about Nintendo Switch 2. Some thoughts. Number one, will the display/screen that is exposed out of the dock allow for notifications and wallpapers? I think that would be cool to get communications from friends and directly from Nintendo. Number two, will other peripherals or accessories be able to magnetically lock onto the side of the console or the Joy-Con themselves? I think this has great potential. Number three, does the new color scheme only have the red-blue color underneath the thumbsticks of the Joy-Cons? I hope this doesn't mean we don't get different colors or styles. Number four, the kickstand looks more stable. Number five, USB-C at both ends of the console. For what reason? Number six, form factor seems sleek, but what will battery life be, especially with the bump in power? All those are good. And we didn't even talk about that. You know, interestingly enough, Nintendo showed this entire thing and did not do one spec. No numbers, no flops, no like screen inches, anything like that at all, period. They just didn't do it.
Did they have to? Did they have to say, look, the screen's bigger? They physically showed that it was
No,
bigger than the original.
but you know, when they revealed the OLED, that was one that they did lead with some of that stuff. More powerful speakers, brighter screen, brighter, and they gave the dimensions of the screen on that. Just saying.
Yeah. I think the fact that it's got a number 2 next to it instantly has told me that I need to buy it. The OLED was one of those things where I kind of looked at my Switch, looked at the OLED and thought, I can hold on. I can hold on for the Switch 2. So now the Switch 2's here and I'm like, so.
Right. And we also got a comment from the Jiggy Collector for you guys, Nick and Sean.
Oh, hello.
Says, Sean and Nick are back. Good evening, gentlemen. Well, Nintendo Switch 2. Actually, it wasn't about you guys. It just he just wanted to say hi. He says, I'm here for it and I'm going to buy it. I'm looking forward to April 2nd. One feature I do hope they retain is amiibo functionality. Will Xbox games come over? Is everything an Xbox? Even the Switch 2? LOL. What are your thoughts? So you honestly, guys, do you think that we'll see Game Pass on Switch 2?
I wholeheartedly believe that at some point it will come as an application. iOS have it where you can save the browser as an application. It's already there on Android phones. We're seeing Xbox Game Pass titles ported across to PlayStation. So it's in Phil Spencer's remit to get Game Pass games and Xbox games everywhere to anyone at any time. So it doesn't matter what console you're on, which way you come in, PC, cloud, through an Xbox console. Hell, you can play a Game Pass game through your TV. You can play Game Pass on MetaQuest. You can play Game Pass on I'd probably say if you had a microwave with a screen, he'd want you to play Game Pass on that microwave. So he wants it to get everywhere. He's big into all players everywhere, and I think that's been Xbox's plug for years, is play anywhere kind of thing. So I would wholeheartedly hope that there is some kind of application in the future.
Maybe that extra button is a X button.
Yeah, I think it'll be some kind of application. Nintendo's, I wouldn't say bread and butter, but one of Nintendo's things is indies, and Game Pass is known for indies, and Nintendo isn't going to let that indie sale go away while everybody plays the indie games on the Game Pass application. So I think it'll be a form of Game Pass where Nintendo gets to say, no, we've cut a deal with that developer too, and they're going to be on our, so that can't be on our version of Game Pass. So with that said, yes, I think you'll probably see something, but it'll be catered to what Nintendo will allow. But it's funny, we actually we podcast Dad Crossing, all about dad stuff, but we still do run Game Pass News' X account, and we just played around with this is an Xbox and switched the words around and said, is this an Xbox? And put a Switch 2 on the in front of it and threw it on X. So yeah.
Wouldn't that be interesting if there was a special version of Game Pass that you could get on the Switch that you could go to the store and buy? Obviously, you could probably do it digitally, especially in the future, but the first one you get with a special pass with maybe free months or something on it came with a special Xbox edition Joy-Con that you could attach with the right side.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way it had the right button configurations.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, man. That would be pretty sweet.
You're making money there, Tim.
Yeah.
Those are money
I'll buy
ideas. I like that. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Let's talk about what we've been playing. All right.
Marty, before we do that, we have to take a quick ad break from our sponsors over at Manscaped.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Bad. No, it's okay. Not a problem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, big thanks to Manscaped for their continued support of the show. It is playoff season, gentlemen. The time when legends are made, underdogs rise, and your fantasy team fate hangs in the balance. But here's the deal. While you're fighting to avoid last place punishment, don't let your grooming game take the L. Meet the Ball and Beard Bundle from Manscaped, the ultimate grooming toolkit designed to handle your full body shaving days. Whether you're shaping up your beard for a post-game interview, look, or ensuring everything below the belt is ready for victory celebration, this bundle has you covered. Keep your grooming game tight, even if your lineup isn't. Head over to manscaped.com, use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Big thanks to Manscaped, the amazing products that they have. I would be remiss if we did not mention how great we have been loving their products. And they got some great travel-ready equipment. They have got some grooming kits ready for you. They've got bundles. They have got everything. Head over there. Start your 2025 right with Manscaped. Start some great grooming routines. Looking to trim the beard, trim the body hair, some deodorants, some lotions, some shampoos. They got everything. All right. Chapstick. They have got all your men hygiene grooming products that you need. So check out Manscaped. You use that promo code NINDADS for 20% off and free shipping. Marty, back to you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. So what we've been playing, Nick, Sean, you're our guests. What have you been playing?
Go on,
John,
Nick, you
go
go
first. Oh gosh, darn it.
Beat you to it.
You did. Okay. So 2 games, really. I'll make it quick. My life has been consumed by Core Keeper. I've been playing it ever since it dropped on Game Pass, and I've put in a lot of hours. Not a Animal Crossing amount of hours, but a lot of hours, still the same. So I've been loving that game. That game is a top-down like base builder, but it also has a lot of boss battles involved, lots of exploration. I just love it. Anyway, so been playing that. With the kiddos, I've been playing Lego Fortnite, which has been a year-long journey with them. Unfortunately, my son's my son's username or account has crashed on our world, and so that's a real issue. Shout out to Epic. They have not fixed it, but they have literally, like, we've had a 44 email back and forth over this last week, and they have been like on it every time. They've always gotten right back to me. Like, I cannot appreciate. Unfortunately, I think they finally have come to the point to where they're like, hey, we now see the problem. It's larger than we realized. There's a handful of people, so we can't do anything about it. But like, they have been back and forth with me continuously, not like left me hanging at all. So shout out to them. So hopefully we can get that fixed, because Lego Fortnite is the most fun gaming I've ever had with my kiddos. So hoping
That's cool.
So those are my 2 games.
I don't really have much of my rotation other than Call of Duty, which I'm not going to delve into too much, but I have put a lot of time into that. I think I'm about rolling the 5th prestige round, so there's that. And then I tried a free trial of Cult of the Lamb because Nick massively enjoyed it, and had put me onto it. So I did my free trial. I played the 60 minutes of it. Absolutely love that game. It seems to mesh the whole dungeon crawler come camp management come crafting into one very, very interesting thing. The comedy side of stuff is funny. And the fact that you can name all your characters, all different things, is great too. So I've got that, but I'm due some surgery in the next few months. So that's on the back burner to purchase once I've had the surgery, because it's going to be one of those games I sit on the sofa, my leg up, and play via the Switch. So, yeah.
Cool. Tim, what you been playing?
I've been playing more of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I forgot to put that in my notes, but Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I know we're going to be talking about that more, so I'll leave it to that. I just got to mid chapter 3, so that's where I'm at. Also been playing a game called Overdungeon. It is a tower defense card game, roguelike game, where you collect cards and make a run through a path that you select, and beating the different bosses along the way with your cards and collecting more cards to improve your deck, and essentially get to the end and beat the boss. And with the characters you have, you get like 5 characters to just choose from. It's a bit chaotic because of the tower defense aspect of it, because you're just throwing out stuff to defend yourself from getting hit by the bosses. But you're throwing out all these different animals out there too to help defend you. So you're throwing out horses, elephants, dogs, cats, alpacas, just all kinds of animals. And then obviously, like I said too, you have tower defense things like chicken coops that will help defend you, and cannons and other things that I don't even know what they are, but it's pretty fun. But I'm still trying to figure out exactly. It helps the, what do you call the dopamine? You get the dopamine hits, right? So that's probably why I'm still playing it. But I'm getting through. I'm winning. I got through 2 runs and beat it, but it says at the end when I beat the boss, it says to be continued. So I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But it's so far, like I said, it's been a lot of fun, and I've been enjoying it. And I think that's it. Yeah, I've just been playing those 2 mainly, and then on deck I have the Blade Chimera game to play. So I've heard some good things about it, and Justin, you said I should play it. So
yeah, and I can actually transition that. I've played a bit of Blade Chimera. Played about 45 minutes of Chimera, about 45 minutes of it today. This is described as a Metroidvania game. And in this game, you are a demon hunter with no memory of your past. And then you form this like relationship with this like demon who has the ability to shapeshift into this cool weapon, sword, that kind of like fills time and becomes like an all-purpose everything. It's really cool. Ton of fun. Definitely Metroidvania in the elements of here's a map. You have to go back. You have to, kind of skill up some of your stuff. I don't know why my brain today was just like not working. Like it was like there are kind of 3 functions. There is in your kind of your face buttons. There's jump, there's shooting a gun, and there's using your sword. And I like my brain couldn't figure out which one was which, and I don't know why. It feels like one of them isn't where it should be, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like you're like your jump button feels like it should be B, but you've put gun to B. And so A is jump. Like, okay, there's something here that doesn't
Oh,
feel
I hate
right.
it when games do that. Oh
Yeah,
my
I was
gosh,
like,
that's gonna be frustrating.
that's not right. And so I got to go figure if I can remap it. It was, and I don't know, maybe
Okay.
it's just me just having a day. My brain wasn't collaborating well, and it was,
Yeah.
but I digress. The game is really cool. The game is really fun and on sale right now, by the way. I think it's like less than $20. Yeah, Tim,
Yeah.
this is up your alley. I'm excited to hear what you think of it when you get a
Okay.
chance to play it.
By the way, that reminded me the that same button issue with the Mario Luigi brother ship game, right? There was that
Oh yeah.
just odd placement of when to hit
Yep.
Luigi's buttons, and it kept
Luigi
frustrating
has
me.
always been B and B for everything, but
Yeah.
nope, let's change it up.
So yeah,
They'll love it.
good.
No, we won't.
The other game that I have put about 40 minutes into, and I've got first looks coming up tomorrow or on Saturday for Blade Chimera, but tomorrow my first look will be for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Nintendo was kind enough to send us over a couple codes, so I got an opportunity to play it again. And y'all know I'm a Donkey Kong love, right? You know my fandom for it. It brings me back to playing the original Donkey Kong Country on Super Nintendo. I purchased this when it was out on the Wii, but did not complete it. I did not like the motion controls and the waggle around it. The gimmick did not make me enjoy the game as much. They have said, "Hey, here's a controller. How about you try this now?" And man, I'm loving it so far. It definitely makes me it just throws me back to playing it when I was a younger kid, and so that's awesome. Definitely makes me crave like an actual like new Donkey Kong Country game on the Switch too, and just how wonderful these games are. So, Donkey Kong Country HD returns, well worth it. Also, just a great family like two-player game. You can play with your kids, right? Jump in, they can play Diddy Kong. So I would highly recommend it. Yeah, and there's lots of like if you die, you're not punished hard, right? So yeah.
Yeah. I also have been playing Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which is a really long title for that game. But it's a lot of fun. I finished level 2 tonight, so beaten 2 bosses. Um, what Justin, maybe he just missed it or forgot to mention it, is this game does include the modern mode that was introduced in the 3DS version, which is kind of a little more lenient version of the game. It allows Donkey Kong to start with 3 hearts instead of 2, or 1. I can't remember what it was. Like he gets hit once and he gets hit again
Yeah.
and he's dead. And Diddy Kong also has 3 hearts. And it also adds an expanded slate of items
Hmm.
in Cranky Kong's cabin. But like I have to say, like I noticed a couple of reviews before this game came out talking about load times and things like that. And I don't really get the gripe about that. It's not anything completely out of the ordinary.
No.
It looks and plays great and moves super smooth. It's been so long since I played this game that I had forgotten just some of the like nice little audio cues that happen or the visual touches, throughout the game. Especially this is where those levels came for into Donkey Kong, where everything's silhouetted except his tie and Diddy's
Yeah.
cap shirt,
Um,
and those are just absolutely
I think it's
gorgeous.
World 114 or whatever, and it's called Sunset something. Man, I finished that for a podcast. That's such a great, like,
Yeah, like I
just
love going back and
love the look of
replaying
that.
those.
Yeah.
So cool. And I mostly played it. I've only played it on the television, so I've not played it yet like on the OLED screen. And I'm sure that it just makes those colors and that sunset level pop and look really good. Of course, it is a Donkey Kong Country game, so the difficulty is there.
Yep.
Just be aware of that. I mean, there are like it starts out okay, but I remember that by the end of this game, it gets down to like super pinpoint precision platforming. So it's really a game that's going to test that for you. If you love platformers, then you absolutely need to pick this game up. If
Yeah.
you've
And
especially if you've never played it before.
yeah, lots of replayability also for the levels, right? Whether it's collecting all the letters, whether it's collecting all the puzzle pieces, like there are lots of replayability components
Yeah.
of it. So I think it's a fantastic game. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward to spending some more time with it this weekend, as well as a game that I have picked back up after a long hiatus, Pixel Lines 2, which is kind of like I don't know how to describe this game. It's not Picross. It's like there's numbered circles in a grid, and you're drawing lines between, like if it says 10 and 10 and they're the same color, you're finding the path to join those up in the right way so that all of the circles eventually join up in the right way, that it makes a picture. And when you've done that right, you complete the grid. It's not like Picross where if you make a mistake, you get penalized. If you make a mistake here, you just kind of have to go back and undo some things and try a new way to bend that line from point A to point B. And so it's super chill, especially with the sequel. Um, the soundtrack's gotten pretty lo-fi. It can be a little bit repetitive, but in this one, I think it's a little bit better than the first release. But the first game, there's actually three Pixel Lines games on Switch. There's Pixel Lines Deluxe, there's Pixel Lines 500 More Puzzles, and then there's Pixel Lines 2. And between all of those, I really think I want to say there's probably like 700 some odd puzzles or more. And they go like based on grid. Like, I mean, it can go from like a 6x6 grid, which is super small, to the one I'm doing right now is like, and they're odd shaped. It's like 65 by 80. And so there is a story. It's really goofy. It's not like, to me, it doesn't really matter at all. It's just about zoning out and doing these puzzles. And it's been super chill. So I've really enjoyed that. I also played on the PlayStation over the weekend for the first time the Stanley Parable, the updated version. And I am just going to go on record and say I pretty much hated the experience.
I did not want you
Oh
to
I
say
just-
no. Oh
I
no.
okay. I don't see why everybody likes this game. I
it's
got three or four different endings, and I was like, this is stupid, and I quit.
see,
And
it's on my wish list. So
so
Or it was.
it's
Or
very
it
like,
was.
the thing is no. I mean, here's the deal. I think it's a game that if you could play it as like a free like Game Pass or something like that, absolutely. If I had paid money for that, I would be really upset.
Oh, okay.
All right. Because it's very possible that you make all the right choices the first time and you beat it in 15 minutes.
Hmm.
And after I did the like quote unquote good ending, and then I went and looked up how many endings there were, and there's like 25, I was like, I'm not doing that. Because you go back and you play the exact same like sequences again. All you're doing is making a different choice here or here to of where to go. There's no combat, there's no nothing, you don't pick up anything. It's just you moving around. And so it got boring really fast.
That was my worry when I saw it. I was like,
Yeah.
if there's more than two choices, that's fine. And if those
In
making
a
one
lot of
those,
cases, Sean, it is just point at choice A or choice B.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that
I'm
might
not-
fall off the wish list.
Yeah. And then I've been playing Fortnite. I'm level 98. I go in and it's because I've been going in. They've done a really good job this season of providing lots of ways to get abundant experience. So now with the Godzilla stuff coming in this week, I've already completed all the first round of all those quests. And I just basically go in every day and do the daily quests and get any story quests that I still need to do, and I'm done. Like 20 to 30 minutes a day. And I just focus on that. Like, I've done my win. I got the OG season win. I got the whatever chapter this is, chapter six, season one win. So I got both umbrellas for that. I'm done. So if I go in and I do all my quests and like, oh, my dailies are done and there's 50 people left in the game, I just go jump off a building and die. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to try to be, although I did get a win today, just
Nice.
cause, I was like, I wasn't even trying. And I know that sounds very like, oh, I wasn't even trying, but I didn't notice that until like I was the last two left. I was like, oh, there's only one other guy left. And by that time, the storm had closed in and was moving so fast, he got trapped underground and couldn't get out. So, which was fine because at that point I had all gold weapons and it was not going to be good for him or her when I found them. Or maybe, I mean, I've gotten some really dumb deaths this season. Like I'd be like, I'm slashing you with a sword and you shot me with a shotgun one time. And how did that happen?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of it's happening a lot in Call of Duty as well. With this, the skill-based damage rating is just bizarre. So
Yeah. Yeah. So also I have not played any more Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm going to. I know I keep saying that, but I'm at some point I'm going to, but classes start back next week. So game choice is going to be very important because I'm going to have a lot of schoolwork to do. So I may settle in on Xenoblade as the one game that I'm playing since I don't really have anything like Donkey Kong Country. I'll play play through it and then I might go back and get all the pieces and stuff, or I probably won't. But anyway, that's what I've been playing. Let's turn on the community spotlight, shall we?
All right. So
Oh, Tim, you didn't jump in there, so I was like, okay, I'll just do
sorry.
it.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was trying to clear my
go,
throat.
Please go ahead.
All right. So some of the events that we always have is, if we're hanging out online, the best thing to do is just follow our channels like YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and Facebook. We can when we stream to all those platforms. So make sure you subscribe to us and get notifications in case you want to come hang out with us when we're streaming. You can also go to since we extended it one more week, you can go to our Discord or email us your top 10 games of 2024 because we'll be talking about that next week. So you got a little extra time to tell us if you didn't make it. You can let us know what your top games are, not just top 10, but just top games of 2024. And it can be any system, especially Nintendo. We'll do, Jesse's been kind enough to split up the list this year for both a Nintendo specific list and then all gaming list, all gaming devices and services and stuff like that. So we'll get to talk about that next week. As long as there's no other surprise news things, then we'll talk about our game of the year for 2024 finally. All right. So we have a few questions before we drop out from our community. First up, coming from Discord. If you could invite any Nintendo character to your birthday party, who would it be? And who would you make sure doesn't come to your birthday party?
I wouldn't invite Link because he'd just smash the place up, throwing pots everywhere. And
Hi.
yeah, and I'd invite Bowser because I reckon he'd do a really good musical number.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, what? You don't think Bowser's gonna destroy the place? But that's fair. Yeah, the musical number's worth it. Fair point.
How about you, Nick?
I would not invite Tom Nook because he would take all my money, and I would invite probably just Mario. I know that's lame, but I just want to hang out with Mario. He seems cool. So
That's fair. Fair. Marty, how about you?
I just want to know, is it real Mario or Chris Pratt Mario?
that's fair.
I
It's
mean,
Chris
either
Pratt
one
Mario.
of them is, yeah, I mean, Chris Pratt
Either
Mario
one's
would be
cool, yeah. But Chris Pratt Mario, I don't know. It seems I just know you get to know him more. So if they're two different
Yeah.
universes, I'm going Chris Pratt Mario.
like Chris, just in general to me, like Chris Pratt seems like a guy would be like fun to have a backyard barbecue with.
That's for sure.
Like I told
We
my
should
wife
get him
that
on the
last time. It's
show.
like that's
We should get
just
Chris
what I
Pratt
wanna
on
do.
the show.
Should.
That's our goal for 2025, Tim. Write
Chris
it down.
Pratt,
Chris
Nintendo
Pratt
Dads, got
guest
it.
on Nintendo Dads.
Write it down.
all right.
No, I'm not inviting Kirby
Yeah, that's
because he's going to eat everything. And I am going to invite Isabel because she throws pretty good celebrations.
Just for a good shindig.
Oh, KK. Oh man. Speaking of, oh, I didn't think about that.
Honorable
Should've
mention.
that.
Honorable
Yeah,
mention.
there you go.
What about you, Tim?
All right, I just had to type that in. Chris Pratt on the Nintendo Dad Show. We'll see. I had to put that in our Discord. All right, for me, I would want to my birthday party. I think I agree with the KK slider because he would invite him and he would be the musical guest and also hang out after when he's done. I think that's perfect. And who I don't want is a Metroid because they would just suck the life out of the party. Haha.
Oh, good. Good call.
I hope Jesse appreciated that one too. So, all right, are you guys planning on getting the Switch 2 at launch, after launch, or wait till the special edition comes out first? Speaking of Jesse, he said day one.
Day one.
Day one.
Day one.
Yeah. Yep. So, Mecca, you should know this by now. We're going to get it day one. And if there's a special edition we want, we'll trade in that day one and
Day
get
one.
that special edition one.
Say we'll get that too.
Yeah, we'll get that day one, and then I'll give that one to a kiddo. That's
Yeah,
how
we
that'll
pass
work.
it down. We pass it
Yeah,
down.
Exactly.
There we go. All right. Zablanc's question. I beat Sekiro today. Squeals. What are the hardest games you've ever beaten that make you feel like a big bad gamer? And Jesse put Zelda 2.
Those are good. That's good.
Yeah, it's not near as hard as Sekiro or the Elden Ring that I know he's like finished. But I would say for me it's Hollow Knight. So
Wow.
I'm going to say Metroid Dread on the Nightmare mode.
you did do that. That's
That
crazy.
was that final boss.
Ooh,
I was just gonna say Metroid Dread and just the regular mode. I'm surprised you did the Nightmare
Yeah.
one.
One hit,
Kudos
one
to
kill.
you, sir.
man.
Kudos to you.
Wow. A couple that come to mind, just off the top of my head, Cuphead is pretty difficult. Beat that. And Celeste is can be pretty difficult too. But if you want to go back in the day, it would be I beat the original Earthworm Jim.
Oh, on this.
Yeah, I really don't know how I did that, but I did.
Nice.
Perseverance and hard work, my good sir.
It just I had a really good day.
That is
I don't
crazy.
know. It was
Kudos to you too for that.
that one was pretty difficult. I don't know that I could do that today. Does Earthbound count as difficult too?
I never played
Because I
it,
just
so
remember
don't
I
know.
just remembered
I
it
never
being
did either.
pretty difficult.
I
We're
would
all
Maybe I
alone.
just didn't. I don't know that I leveled up the way I was supposed to, but I just kind of forced my way through it and got lucky.
We'll give it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. If Third Strongest Mole was here, I'd ask him if that would count, but he's not here, so.
Right.
All right. Darth Platypus asks, since there has been a lot of snow, if you had to pick 2 or 3 Nintendo characters to be snowed in with, who would you pick? Also, if you picked one character for your co-host to be snowed in with, who would you choose?
Oh my gosh! You all get Wario and Waluigi.
Oh, the
Okay.
farts. Oh man, it's awful. Two characters to be snowed in with. If I was snowed in with Bowser, he could clear away a path.
There you go.
Hung up on
So,
Bowser, man.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Mm-hmm. And he apparently can sing good songs. So there's both of those.
Peaches.
Just imagine that for like 3 or 4 days, though. Hey, I've got a song. I'll sing it if
just
you
like-
want me to.
He either sings a song or he cries in the corner about not getting Peach. It's like there's only 2 options. You're like, oh, the worst choice I've made in my life.
2 a.m. and you hear the song coming from the living room.
What if it's the same song, but he tries it in different genres? He does a country version, a hip hop version, an R&B version.
Well, now I want him. Now I pick that too.
Yeah. Oh, who do I got to give Sean? I have to give Sean somebody. I could be nice and give him Bowser. But huh. I go Kirby. Here's Kirby. There you go.
Thanks.
You just have to run
Just have
around the
no
house
food
and
left.
try. I want to know. I want to know when Kirby sucks you up. I want to know what his power is. I want to know what he looks like what his power. I want to know what happens. That's what I want to know.
The inability to walk anywhere of a long distance.
He just like rolls around.
Yeah, limps everywhere.
Yeah.
I have an
Drags
answer that would fit probably the Dad After Dark show rather than this show, so I am not going to say.
That's the only place I'm going as well.
Yeah, this is a setup question.
Yeah. I was going to say my guests or be stuck with the ice climbers.
Oh, yeah, pretty.
Okay.
Be stuck, have them be with me if I was snowed in. And for my co-hosts, one character for your co-host, I would pick Tingle for Jesse. I don't care that it's not a Nintendo character, but it has to be Mega Man for Marty, and Donkey Kong for Justin.
He's in Smash Brothers, so he's a Nintendo character now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right. So I'd probably have like people you can play, somebody you can play a decent game with. So Boo, because you could just play hide and seek till you were bored.
Oh, there you go.
And then I would have Link because he's quite handy at things like cooking recipes from
there you go
random bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And
What do you think?
and the character you look.
I made this awesome soup with your cereal.
You're just gonna listen to that freaking jingle every time he cooks something.
Stupid cereal.
This is cereal and milk. No, it's soup. It's stew. It's awesome.
And then you probably all get Jigglypuff to help you go to sleep.
All right.
See, that's that. There you go. I'm gonna pick. What? Nobody picked any Pokemon.
It sprung to mind that Pokemon is a Nintendo thing. Like at the last.
I'm going to pick. It's not a Nintendo character, but they're in Smash Brothers, so they are a Nintendo character. I'm going to pick Steve from Minecraft, so that I can build a better shelter.
There you go. I like it.
Awesome.
And then, and you know what? I just think like Yoshi for transportation.
Okay.
That's
there you go.
Quite
and I already told you, you're all getting Wario and Waluigi. I enjoy that. I'm sorry. It's wonderful. It'd be great. It'd be great. You could play micro games and worry about whether or not you're going to wake up in the morning.
I could pick his nose and smell his fart. Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right. Beer Cerveza asks, given the redesign of the Switch 2 Joy-Con, do you think Joy-Con drift is a thing of the past?
We'll see.
Nintendo are hoping that it's a thing of the past.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going to just be super optimistic and be like, there's no way there's going to be drift with Switch 2.
There's absolutely no. And that was famous.
That's what I'm worried about too. Not worried about, but more how, like when they go to talk about it, if it truly is Hall effect versions of those, is Nintendo going to call that out? Because Nintendo's always been, it's about us. We're not going to give credit up front to certain things unless they have to contractually, like the NVIDIA, processor. Obviously, because the Nintendo can't make those. But will they give credit to the Hall effect, the company that created the Hall effect Joy-Cons or joysticks?
I think they're not going to call them Hall effect joysticks. I think they're going to say new and improved joysticks that reduce drift. And if they say reduce drift, then
What's the Nintendo name they're gonna give it? The
HD sticks.
there you go, HD6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Deluxe, golden deluxe stick.
Deluxe thumbsticks.
It won't be.
New Nintendo thumbsticks.
HD deluxe.
HD deluxe. with
3D HD.
3D, yeah, right?
Yep.
It won't be drift, guys. It'll be something else. It'll be like magnetic movement or something like that. We've noticed
Yeah.
some magnetic movement within your person when you click it on
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely. 100%.
All right. Last thing we have is a voicemail from Christian.
Hey, Nintendo Dads, it's me, Christian. I just wanted to wish you guys a Happy New Year and also new Mario Kart. Woohoo! Super excited about it. All right, guys, I hope you guys are having a great day. I'll talk to you later. See ya.
I love it.
Awesome.
So good. We love voicemails. If you'll send them in, we'll play them. There you go. There's the proof. Well, guys, that is episode 511. We want to thank Nick and Sean for hanging with us tonight, especially because it was like 3 a.m. when we started recording for Sean. And so we thank you for the sacrifice to be on the show.
My wife is literally going to wake up in about 2 minutes for work. So.
Okay. Well, and that's when you go to bed. Well, thanks for hanging out with us. As we close out the show, we want to say a huge thanks to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberger and Jacqueline Amira, as well as our other 100 plus patrons over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on over here at Nintendo Dads HQ and enabling us to do all that we do. Also, a huge thank you to our 13 plus Twitch Prime subscribers, over 1,400 Twitch followers, and almost nearing 7,900 YouTube subscribers. What we're basically saying is, thank you. Thanks for following us. Thanks for liking, sharing all of our content and all that great stuff. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. You can head over to our website, nintendodads.org, where you can check out lots of cool stuff like a list of our other podcasts, like Star Wars Dads, Dad Crossing, Retro Logic, their family of podcasts, all that stuff. Our latest YouTube videos and tweets. Links to all of our social media, Patreon, Extra Life pages, and Nintendo Dads merch. And don't forget to check out manscaped.com where you can get 20% off your order with free shipping by using the code NINDADS. It's an INDADS. Treat yourself to some sweet swag from Manscaped. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 929-25-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music we use throughout the show. And a reminder, wherever you download this audio version of the podcast, please leave us a 5-star review and some comments. Helps push us up the charts, helps more people find the show, and, well, it just makes you a good person. Anyway, for me, for Tim, for Nick, for Sean, for Jesse, and Justin, this has been episode 511. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Nintendo Dads.